All right, guys, let's get ourselves ready. While the rest of the panelists are coming on for you guys in studio. Folks, do us a favor, share the video as you come on. A lot of things to talk about today. This is a special edition of the closing argument. I'm pretty sure a lot of you are aware that we normally don't come on Thursdays, but today we had to, of course, spare our time and be on here so that our people can benefit from the current events. So as we wait on the rest of the panelists to join us, folks, we are simply asking that you do us a favor, share the video, invite other people to be a part of the conversation. um, as we wait on the rest of the panelists to come on. Ben Sanvee will be hosting, well, Alex Bearder will be hosting the night. Uh, Ben Sanvee will be joining him. We have other guests who are going to be joining us later on. I think Representative Frank Safoco will be in the studio with us, as well as Isaac Jackson and other guests. So, folks, let us get ourselves together as we share the podcast. Invite other people to come on. I'm very positive it will be another fascinating conversation, very fire burning. As the legal mind himself, Isaac Jackson, will be joining us, giving us his perspective from the legal aspect of things. And we will also be hearing from Representative Frank Safoco, who will be hopefully giving us insight and also giving his view on the response from the information minister. I think he partially addressed that on his personal page. But great to be here. There you go. Tomalin George is in studio now, folks. Unfortunately, and I apologize that I had to turn my camera off as I'm en route and traveling, so I hate to come on the platform with me having to drive. But Tomalin George, thank you for coming on, guys. We will be following from the back, and we wish you guys a great show today.
Thank you, Lofa. Thank you. And whatever you're doing, safe. Be safe. Take care of that. Be safe. Take it easy out there. But it's good to be
Thank you.
back with an argument, especially edition of the closing argument. As you may be aware, today there was early morning disturbance in the city of Monrovia, to be particular in the headquarters of this Congress for Democratic Change, this opposition CDC. And there have been different versions of what occurred today, but the panelists will be here, and we'll do our best to discuss, bring the facts wherever the facts lead us. But as we get started, we have two statements coming from the one from the opposition Alternative National Congress, the ANC, just issued a statement, and it reads: the ANC condemns violence and lawlessness at CDC headquarters, calls for immediate and fair investigation. The Alternative National Congress, the ANC, unequivocally condemns the lawlessness and violence that erupted today around the Congress for Democratic Change CDC headquarters. The incident is a stark reminder of the dark days of our past, and we must collectively ensure that Liberia does not slip back into the years of carnage and gangsterism. The ANC firmly believes that there is a better way to enforce the law, and certainly a more constructive way to react to disagreements. Liberia is a nation for all its citizens, not just for seditions or UP partisans to engage in destructive confrontations. We must rise above partisan divides and work together for the greater good of our country. We condemn the violence in the strongest possible terms and call on the government to act responsibly and fairly. It is imperative that an independent commission be instituted to investigate the fracas and make its findings known in the shortest possible time. The citizens of Liberia deserve transparency and accountability, and there must be consequences for such massive disruptions and the injuries inflicted upon our people and our state. The ANC stands with the victims of today's violence and their families. We extend our deepest sympathies to those who were injured and affected by this senseless act. Our thoughts and prayers are with you during this difficult time. Enough is enough. We cannot allow our beloved nation to be torn apart by violence and lawlessness. It is time for all Liberians to come together and demand better from our leaders and ourselves. We must strive for a peaceful, just, and prosperous Liberia, where the rule of law prevails and every citizen feels safe and valued. The ANC remains committed to working towards a brighter future for Liberia. We urge all political parties, civil society organizations, and citizens to join us in condemning violence and advocating for peace and justice. Together, we can build a nation that we are all proud of, a nation where every Liberian can be assured of equality and justice. This signed by Lafayette E. Gould, National Chairman, Alternative National Congress, ANC. Now, we did our due diligence. We reached out to the government of Liberia, and so no one should say that. But let me say this clearly. This platform is not an opposition platform. It's not the platform for CDC or ANC or UP or whatever the case. Any opposition party is a people's platform. We always make our duty to reach out to the government and all sides of the political divide to be heard. And when we make our request, it's up to them to either agree or not. And so this afternoon, I reached out to the Minister of Information, Honorable Jeremy Pia, and all he did was send me this statement. And we'll read. Statement by the government of Liberia. Early this morning, the Liberian Drug Enforcement Agency, LDEA, in an attempt to execute a search and seizure warrant at an identified property in the small town community around the Bernard Beach vicinity, received resistance from some community members that led to the LDEA personnel pulling out of the community. As a result of the resistance, several LDA personnel sustained injuries and are currently being treated at a John F. Kennedy Medical Center. After the LDA pulled out, individuals believed to be members of the Congo Democratic Change, CDC, blocked the flow of traffic, setting roadblocks, lighting fires, and peddling stones at vehicles and pedestrians on Tomalin Boulevard, near the party headquarters. Several vehicles were damaged and innocent citizens as well as law enforcement officers were injured by rocks strewn from the direction of the party headquarters. To restore law and order, the Liberian National Police, LNP, swiftly intervened. The Joint Security also states categorically that no lethal weapon was used. The government clarifies that the LDEA search and seizure execution was not intended for, nor did it target the headquarters of the CDC. The Joint Security affirms its commitment to the rule of law and protection of our democratic principles. The security forces will continue to perform their duties with professionalism and integrity, ensuring that individuals enjoy their rights in a safe environment. The government also urges everyone to refrain from violence and carry on with the normal activities. In another development, the government of Liberia attention has been drawn to a story published in today's edition of the Front Page Africa entitled "To Raid or Not to Raid." The government of Liberia categorically denies that it or any of its agencies ever requested or sought to obtain a warrant to search and seize the home of the former President Weah. The government emphatically states that a story published in a newspaper about a supposed plan to search and seize the home of the former president is false and without any truth. The case in question, the Gracious Right case, is currently before the Supreme Court. The prosecutorial arm of the government is the Ministry of Justice, and if there are any questions, indictments, or warrants or of arrest to be issued, they will derive from the Ministry of Justice. Front Page Africa did not seek any verification of the story from the Ministry of Justice. Additionally, the legal advisor has not sought nor been involved in any warrant contrary to the FPA story. The government has called on Front Page Africa to retract and correct its sensational and unverified publication. It could lead to a dangerous national security situation. Signed, Jeremy Matthew Pia, Minister. With this, I will say this. I take responsibility of what I said. I stand by the Front Page Africa's headline yesterday. I stand by it. Front Page is a reputable newspaper, organ outlet, and they won't just come up with story with all the facts. And the question should be asked, why is the Supreme Court not saying anything? If the government claims that Front Page is lying and the Supreme Court is not linked to this, why the Supreme Court is silent? That shows you that it is a fact of the matter that Front Page is saying the facts, but only because Front Page exposed what was planned against the former president's residence that made them to come up with this, to say that Front Page story is false and misleading. So I repeat, I stand by Front Page story. I believe in it. A reputable paper, and they won't go about just putting a false story out there. So
So since I'm like, I'm glad that good thing you read the press release from the ANC. But to be honest with you, I personally won't have given any credence to the uh, 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 the statement that was sent to you by the Jeremy Pierre, where you actually reach out to him, all right, to give him the audience to speak to what happened today, okay, because he's the mouth of the government. When you respected him and reached out to him instead, he sent you press release. I would have just published the press release right on whatever page and leave it right there, since he's too good enough to engage you or speak to the Liberian people when you're reaching out to him, as out of courtesy. You reach out to him, but he chose to be, just he chose to just kind of wave you off with what he did. Sent you the press release and say, all right, here, go read this to the people. I mean, my time is too valuable for me to spend discussing anything on the platform with you guys. So I personally, I would have just trash it, or post it somewhere else so that those he feel like needs to read it can go and read it. Because I think it's kind of disrespectful. We're talking about the lives of people over here. I think I heard somebody died as a result of the incident today. And you're reaching out to him and asking him to come and address the issue, and he just kind of just brush it off in a very disrespectful manner by sending you the press release or statement and say, go and read this out to the public. I wouldn't have done that, but I must commend you, for the fact that you did due diligence. You reach out, but he thought to be disrespectful about it, and that's why he kind of responded the way he did. But again, these are the kind of people that we have given leadership to. These are the kind of people and these are the kind of behavior that they will exhibit, being disgruntled and disregard for the lives of human. We are at the point where we are now dealing with the possibility of going back to the dark days. Okay, these things should not be tolerated in our community, our society. Going forward, you expect the UP government to be one that will exercise some level of understanding, all right, based on their, in quotation, claim experience. Nobody endorse or support the idea of drugs abuse, but I think there are ways, like it was stated in the statement from the ANC, there are ways that you can actually fight the abuse of drugs. Okay, there are ways we can address some of these things, but as a government, for you to resort to violence as a way of fighting drugs in the country, I don't think that is the best way. I don't think that's how we need to govern the country. We have better way that we can do these things. And I think it is possible that we use those mechanisms that we have, that we can put in place to make sure that we fight the drugs abuse, not to come out here and result to violence and having people who are allegedly somebody died from the result of that today. And as a matter of fact, there were video footages out there of a woman being just undressed and dragged. Another young man was dragged. CDC doing the CDC government, similar things. Police violence. Nobody should endorse or support the act of police violence. Our people are still going through. Our people are still traumatized, and we sit here and allow these kind of things. I mean, people who's supposed to be the people to govern the state have resulted to nothing but violence. President Boycott is not in the country, and I'll close on this note, St. Tomalin. This is what I see that is happening here. A very immature father who leaves his home, and the kids are fighting among themselves, and nothing is being done about it. He's out there just gallivanting the streets, enjoying himself, doing what he wants to do, and he left the kids. They're fighting among themselves, and whether they hurt themselves or not, or they kill themselves, nobody cared. That is the case with President Joseph Boakai. He left the country, and now look what's happening. I mean, people fighting among themselves. All right, this is what is happening. And then one of his appointees in the what's her name, the model lady, came out, because I think that's the only profession I know her to have. She's the model who's actually worked with President Boycott now. Is now out there talking about they're fighting drugs. Is that the only way you can fight drugs? This is complete nonsense, and I'm gonna say that. Go ahead, Tomalin.
Yeah, I agree. Lofa, we can't be like the others. We got to be above the fray. So when they give, look, just I would say the platform is public. Anybody can, if you want to, the idea the public is aware that we reach out to these people and they give us statement. We'll read a statement. They are the government. They choose what they want to do, but the idea will we always want to give them that respect and show them that, look, you have opportunity to come on a platform and make and address the public. But if you refuse, no problem. But the public is aware. Tomorrow, we have reason to say, well, people will say these guys will reach out to you guys. They gave your guys the platform. You're getting a statement. So that's why when we say, that's why I said clearly, I stand by the statement of Front Page Africa. From Africa, they have some plan to go raid the president's house, and that's the fact. And from why the Supreme Court is not saying nothing. So it's up to them. They can go what station want to go and talk. It's up to them. But we are the closing argument. We belong to no one. But let's make progress, guys. I see we have some of the guests already around. I see the representative the district representative from district 15. Oh, what's up? Fogo where? District what? That what district? Fogo again? I forgot. What district? I see.
District 9.
District 9. Yeah, District 9. Okay, I see district. I see Chairman Sanvee. I see Alvin Wissel from the CDC. He's in studio. The Honorable Representative.
Tony, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I don't want to test my audio. Okay, good. Thank you.
Representative Friends.
I'm driving, so I will be off of camera.
And guys, we'll start the program right away. Other guys will join us. Representative Foko, it's good to have you again. On our platform. And Alvin Wissel, it's also good to have you on the closing argument. Guys, first of all, we'll give you guys the opportunity to open up, to give your opening, and then we can get in the discussion. What happened today? You heard the government of Liberia's statement, the issue, and the CDC, I'm sure, they have a contrary response to that. The ANC already have issued a statement condemning it, and we hear from the CDC. So Alvin Wissel, the Representative Foko, is here. We can get started.
Tommy, can I do a quick opening before we get our guests?
Go ahead.
Well, I just want to thank everybody. I will join once I get home. Want to welcome Representative Foko and Alvin Wissel, and I think let's also announce that Attorney Isaac Jackson may be joining us to discuss the happenings in the country today. What happened today was not a good day for Liberia. I think it didn't give the country a good look, and we want to be emphatic about it. Like Lofa said, these things. Any nation that doesn't learn from history is a nation that is doomed to repeat the mistakes of this past. We live in the 21st century. For me to see today on social media, police officers firing into the compound of a political party, no matter what the situation is, it is incumbent upon the government to have restraint. To exercise restraint in when it's dealing with its citizens, especially when it comes to the largest opposition party in the country. So we want to make it very clear. I think what happened today was totally unfortunate. There were so many ways this thing could have been handled. We are getting different reports that LDA went to do operation. This other person went to do operation. It could have been avoided. There's ways when you open dialogue, this is how these things work. But I will be listening. I'm on. But like I said, once I get home, then I will come on camera. So Tommy, thank you again for this, and want to welcome Alvin and the representative as we have the discussion. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Chairman. We'll start with the representative. He's the lawmaker. Yes, so we'll start with him. Representative Foko. Representative Frank Foko Jr. It's good to see you again. It's good to have you on the closing argument. I know you come today not you're not happy, so you will be given an opportunity to express yourself. So the floor is open with your intro, and then we can go to Alvin Wisse. Foko, you can hear? You can hear us?
I think he's muted.
You muted?
Yeah, he looks like he's muted. Because he looks like he's talking.
No, he's not talking though.
Oh.
No,
Signal him to go. Signal him to leave and come back. Because he looks, okay, then he might be frozen.
So, Representative Foko, you can go and come back, maybe. Go in and come back.
Right.
You can hear us. So our representative is getting set. Why he's getting set? Representative Foko, you can go and come back. Let's start with Alvin Wisse. Alvin?
Yeah. How are you? How are you, Tommy the Judge?
Go ahead. Good to see you. Good to see you, Alvin. How's everything going, man?
Yeah, relatively we are not okay because of the situation in the country, our safety, our nation, the peace that we have invested in over the years has been. So I'm receiving echo. Hello? I received your feedback.
We're hearing you. Everybody, I'm muted. So the guys in the studio, make sure you take care of the guests. Go ahead, Alvin.
Yeah, so like I was saying, I'm not too fine. But again, as revolutionaries, it becomes our obligation, our inherent obligation to ensure that we stand for what we believe. And what we believe in is nothing but justice, economic freedom, political emancipation, and ensuring that our democracy remain at a point where we nurture it, where people will have the opportunity to speak their minds, to assemble freely, and to exist without any fear of political intimidation, harassment, or any form of threats being put on the lives simply because we have different opinions or want to espouse a different political, decisions in terms of where we stand. So right now, I am not fine, I'm not happy, I'm not, but we have taken this path as revolutionaries and we have signed up to that. So we are men enough to live with the consequences.
So yeah, okay. Alvin, we said so what really happened this morning? Because from where I'm getting information to that I'm still trying to get information. I'm trying to confirm it about this alleged writ to search, whatever the case, that it wasn't legit, but we're trying to get information clear. But what really happened today at the CDC headquarters, involving the police and the DEA officers?
The first thing we want to categorically state here, that at no point in time the DEA ever visited the headquarters of the Congress for Democratic Change. Anybody who is parading and peddling such information is a dangerous liar and starting more to misrepresent the facts. Those you saw in police regalia, those you saw in police paraphernalia, those you saw wearing police clothes, were thugs that were recruited by the government Liberia through the Liberia National Police under the instruction of Mr. Gregory Como to appear at the headquarters of the Congress for Democratic Change to destroy properties and to take away lives. So the information paraded that it was few people at the level of the DA who went at the Congress for Democratic Change headquarters is a misinformation. The real information is that the Biden administration, in continuation of attempt to silence critical voices in the country, to unleash political casualty on the major opposition in our body politics, have introduced this style. And the first approach has been to go after major actors, major voices, and because they have made several attempts, and those attempts have not been working, too many. And but Loli, you can remember, these same people visited the headquarters before, just August 22nd.
You okay? We hearing you. You live.
And so,
Yeah, go ahead.
on the basis of that, the police, through the instruction of Governor Como, those officers are placed them right at the Pet headquarters on August 22nd. They paraded that place. Tony, you can remember. You can remember when the police moved into the headquarters of the Congress for Democratic Change. And our people were panicking. And you want to ask the question, how the people panic? Tony, some of us were very young. We don't have the opportunity politically to have been around and witness what happened on November 7, 2011. Some of you were around as Speaker brothers. You saw when the police ransacked and invaded the headquarters of the Congress for Democratic Change. This casualty that took away lives and destroyed a lot of properties. As young people growing up, following the policies of the country, the action of the Liberia National Police and some security actors brought a dangerous photographic memory of the death, of the killing of our battalion brothers and sisters under the banner of the Mighty Congress for Democratic Change. So we got reminded that the very United Party that orchestrated this action against our people many years back has come to power again to continue its oppression, to continue the attack, the murdering, the assassination. And so on August 22nd, at 4 a.m., Tomalin, who goes to our national party headquarters, who goes to a national headquarters, nowhere in the history of this country, in the history of contemporary democracy, that state security, well armed, well fortified, heavily armed men with different instruments, with guns and tear gas in there, going to a national headquarters of the major opposition political party in the country by 4 a.m. in the morning. I was never around. As chairman of the Revolutionary National Youth League of the Mali Congress for Democratic Change, I was called that the headquarters of the Congress for Democratic Change were under attack. At that time, the police have already started unleashing casualty on the colonists, on women, on children. But what was the mission? You want to know? Tell me. The real mission is that they thought the chairman of the Congress for Democratic Change, they thought the Secretary General of the Congress for Democratic Change, they thought all of us as leaders of the Congress for Democratic Change and school of partisans were present, and the attempt made today, this morning, was purely intended to destroy lives and properties and to take away the lives of our Secretary General, the lives of our chairman, and school of partisans, and to have many incarcerated, imprisoned, or arrested. So nobody must tell you, Tomalin, like somebody was saying on the show, Josh Shatayana said that. He said, those who fail to read history are bound to repeat the mistakes of the past. Yesterday, November 7, 2011, has replicated and reincarnated itself just before your naked eyes, just before the international community, just before our development partners, just before ECOWAS, just before AU, just before the Americans of churches, even the mass media cover the attempt to destroy many lives and to take away many properties. It is wrong. We want to condemn that. The government of Liberia, under Dr. Ima Bwaka, is deteriorating the fragile peace of our country into the abyss of what happened in 1990, or what happened in 1980, or what happened in 2020, or what happened in 2003. We don't want to go there. We don't want to go back to war. But the Bwaka administration is doing everything possible to undermine the peace, to undermine the democracy, to hijack this peace that the CDC has invested to external barrel, the political leader of the Congress for Democratic Change. So it's a malicious, blatant, pathological lie for anybody to insinuate that few people from DEA went there to go in search of drugs. If anybody wants to look for drugs, the DEA is a macrocosm, the macrocosm of distribution of drugs in our country. What happened to DEA? Where's Ebikoman? Where's Fatiga? Where's Baoko? Were they not work fighting for drugs money? Today, drugs are in the country. Look at zombie drug, the new zombie drug. The new zombie drug killing young people, taking away their lives. And so, these things have been documented by the leadership of the Intermittent Matter Congress for Democratic Change. They did that when they unleashed few men from the armed forces of the Republic of Liberia and the RIA upon the arrival of the political leader of the Congress for Democratic Change. They also did that just yesterday at the LSCC. You went there now, Tomalin. You saw what happened at the LSCC. Barrage of armed men assembled, and when they were waiting for instruction to kill, to shoot, as peaceful civilians, innocent Liberians, people with bare hands, who were using the principles of civil disobedience, who were using the principles of civil liberties, who were using Article 17 of the Liberian Constitution that talks about freedom of assembly, guaranteed under the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. And so we want to,
Arvin, can we interject? This is Ben Sanvee. Let me ask
Chairman, wait, before you go, let me say something.
Oh, sorry.
I'm getting information that if they say, from what I'm getting, a fraudulent search and seizure warrant was issued to the LDA from the City Court of the Borough of West Point, signed by the clerk instead of the judge. Secondly, they were operating outside of the jurisdiction of in the city of Fungal Town. I'm told that this person who issued this false warrant is present in jail. This is why it's important for the government of Liberia to always have representatives to come and clarify these things. Wherever we receive, we're reporting information that comes to us, we report it. Now we have been told that the government, the search warrant they carry out today was falsified. So that's a problem, and we are going to investigate to find out about these things because what it led to violence and the disturbance of the peace. So Ben, you can come in.
So let me ask Alvin. I don't know if we have the representative back on, but like I said, I'm not watching, so I'm listening through my earpiece. But Alvin, I want to ask you. I want you to give us a play because I don't know when you got at the HQ, but from what you heard, what led to the stoning? Because there was clearly stones being thrown and tear gas being fired, right? What led to the stoning? What happened? Because according to the government of Liberia, when I listened to the Minister of Information, he stated that okay. He stated that they went in the vicinity and the person, the people who they were pursuing ran in the CDC headquarters. Is that what happened? And what led to the stoning for them to start firing tear gas? Because I saw it on video where they were firing tear gas, countless amount of tear gas into the compound. But what led to the stoning? Why did the CDC partisans start to stone at the police? Do you know?
Ben, let me first of all say this categorically clear that the narrative being promulgated, being verbiage by Mr. Liar Pierre is nothing but fabricated. Like I said to you, I was not on ground. I left the headquarters of the Congress for Democratic Change yesterday by 12. 4 o'clock in the morning, I was called by stones of partisans. As youth leader, a chairman of the youth league, I heard noise at the background that if you don't come, the police will kill us. If you don't come, we'll lose our lives. Then I decided to ask the first question, but what's going on? And went there to intervene in the situation. Later did I get to know that it was a dangerous political machination. It was a master plan. It was a calculated plot to harass, to morally demoralize, to politically rapsat and taking the CDC into political cowardice. The data at the Ben, the data at RIA, you saw the deployment of the AFL and a few men from the Liberia National Police. The data on July 4th at the headquarters of the Congress for Democratic Change. So it is an opinionated falsehood, a dangerous lie that somebody ran in and so they went to at 4 a.m. The CDC have been the so authentic, legitimate occupant of its national headquarters for the past 20 years. For the past 20 years. Nobody ran over there at 4 a.m. in the morning. Nobody. It was up to them. You are an investigative journalist. You are a political commentator. I don't want you to fall prey to that. What happened yesterday? What happened today? This morning, FPA was not taking. FPA was not taking. The fragile piece of our democracy was degenerated into something else. It was degenerated into what happened to Kenya. It was degenerated into what happened in Nigeria. It was degenerated in what happened in Ghana. For a government who's supposed to be concentrating on bread and butter issues, for a government who promised the people that no car will reach or stuck in the mud, for a government who said that civil servants who have experienced increments in their salaries if they come to power. That doctors, medical doctors, that no nursing, no hospital will run out of drugs. That our people, even the police, will be able to get a pay on time. We employ and deploy diversionary tactics because they cannot answer the question about governance, and they are deploying military tactics, organizing police state to try to harass the major opposition. But the CDC is not going to panic about that. It's not going to deter or retreat. The CDC is the revolutionary movement. We confronted them yesterday, and our people will confront them today. So is that true? It is the police who went there based on the circumstantial pieces of evidence like I just provided to you. At RRA, they were there. At LSCC, they were there. On July 4th, at the headquarters of the Congress for Democratic Change, they were also there. And so it is a continuation of their master plan, diabolical political master plan to intimidate, to harass, and to also replicate what happened to our partisans. And each time we talk about that plan, you are in this country. And each time we talk about this, we reflect on this, we remember how our friends, the lives of Maurice Coman, the lives of Pabi Soro, peace be unto the actors of this Mataya Congress. They were killed. So as a precedent, the United Party is the macrocosm of violence. You know what happened before. And so it is a caveat. We want to say this to our international partners. We want to say this to development partners. We want to say to the American people that this is what happening to our country. President Weir, under his administration, CDC-led administration, there were several protests that were held under our government. What we did was to provide democratic policing. At no point in time did we ever shoot any citizen for exercising their constitutional and democratic franchise. At no point in time did we ever put anybody behind bar as political prisoners. Why our government will panic, will be jittery so much that instead of focusing on the real issues of our governance, we'll be running our opponents. It reminds us about what happened to our people April 12, 1980. After the PRC took over, 13 men were placed on the pool and they were killed.
Thank you,
There
Alvin.
was
Thank you.
arbitrary arrest, extrajudicial killing in our country. There is time for democracy. And let me break the news quickly. Tomalin, I've been told that there are pro-security personnel, police, that are here. They are surrounded this station right now as I speak to you to get me arrested. I've just received this message. I just send it on my page. And if I get arrested, I get killed, the government is responsible. The government is dangerous. They did that in Kinjaw. They did that all over this place, and we may not overlook that. Step on with a piece of the country.
Okay.
I mean, let's get the representative involved at least.
Yeah, let's get the representative involved. First of all, I don't know why they will be arrested. You're not, I mean, I see you crime you're committed. But before the representative Fogo comes in, okay, yes, the story. The search and seizure was they went to the scene this morning with no search and seizure warrant. When the people asked for it, they did not have, they couldn't show it, so they ran to the court. Went to the court, and then one of the judges in the Supreme Court said, "No, we're not getting involved in the politics. You won't be allowed to. All the judges not issue no search warrant to these people." So what they did, they ran to Nuku Town somewhere, and they bribed a clerk, I think $1,000, and he issued that. Now the person is in jail now, and right now as we speak, I'm being told the Justice Minister and Director of Police, they are going back and forth right now. They're having their disagreement. So that's why the ANC statement is clear. President Baga must constitute an independent investigation to get to the bottom of this, what happened today. It disturbed the peace of the country. So it's important that the president took us through under the rock and issue a appoint an independent board of inquiry to investigate. So, Representative Fogo, welcome, Attorney Isaac Jackson. Representative Fogo will give you the opportunity to come in. Representative Fogo?
I think he's still having some issues with his line.
Okay.
Yeah, he appears to be having problems.
So why waiting
I
for
think he's having some problem.
welcome, Attorney Isaac Jackson.
But yes, it's good that we also got Isaac Jackson. He's a lawyer on the show.
Right.
And I guess he's getting some briefing on some of these issues happening. I don't know what the law says, but I will firstly ask Anthony Jackson what the law says about the timeliness. I mean, if somebody went to your premises at 4 a.m. in the morning, to begin to do these sort of unorthodox things, which will create some reactions. Is there anything that the law says about these timelines and what it means to just go to someone's premises?
Yeah, I want to thank you for the invite, Alex. Thank you. Thank my dear friend Tomalin and all our colleague, I think Wisa. Thank Ben Sanvee. I saw Ben will join in later on. He has telephoned me earlier today to be part of this panel. No, but I thank you. I think your question is well placed. The action taken by the Liberian National Police and the government in its entirety, it cannot be justified on any grounds. It is condemnable, and I think all well-meaning Liberians should condemn the action of the Boakas administration, because what the administration thought to do and had done is to take the law in their own hands. Nowhere on this heaven anybody will tell you it is justified to take the law in your own hands. Boaka continue to routinely violate the laws of our country.
Can we park anywhere? I'm good.
Hello?
No, I'm saying so. Just go anywhere on the side. Okay.
Hello?
Are you on live? Go ahead, Isaac. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the point I was making is, I'm still at work and I just thought to jump in here, so I gotta be concerned if the bosses come around, so I will pay attention. But the point I was making is
that have a corporate America.
yeah, right. Boaka continue to routinely violate the Liberian law with the acquiescence or with the agreeable silence of the national legislature. This is not the first time that the government is violating the laws of the country. If you were to open our grand norm, because Liberia is a constitutional democracy. If you go to the constitution of our country, Article 21B of the Liberian Constitution is clear. It said no one shall be subject to search or seizure of his person or property, whether on a criminal charge or for any other purpose, unless upon warrant lawfully issued based on probable cause supported by a solemn oath. So here we are, brother. This government did not obtain any such warrant, and they violated the sanctity, the privacy of the CDC headquarters. This is not permissible anywhere. And if we look to Boaka for solution, you'll be making a mistake, because Boaka is the first person to set the tone for the violations of our laws. He violated the Liberian Constitution, Article 89 and 18 of the Liberian Constitution, when he illegally removed tenure holders from offices. He continued to do that. He doubled down on it. The worst that he's done in recent times is to even usurp the function of the national legislature when he removed the president of the Central Bank of Liberia. Can you imagine that? Everywhere on this heaven, the central bank governor is protected by the laws. even though a member of the executive, but it doesn't take direct instruction because you want to make sure that you divulge the monetary policy for executive influence. Bouacar did not just remove the central bank governor. They usurped the function of the Senate when the legal counsel of the central bank inducted into office those who are supposed to be acting. Where does the legal counsel derive the authority to induct people into office when they are not confirmed by the Liberian Senate? And like I said, with the agreeable silence of the national legislature, nobody in the legislature has said a mumbling word. Not even the nicotine-stained lips of Dallon has said anything about this. And I said nicotine-stained lips because that boy smokes cigarette more than he can think. He has not said anything. And every now and then he claims that he's supposed to be an apprentice lawyer. You need to be, look, and I will use the popular phrase Michelle used in recent time, Michelle Obama. Who is going to tell Trump that a job he's running for here could be a black man job too? Who going to tell Mr. Bouacar that when you routinely violate the Liberian laws that you took oath to protect, it means that you are now subverting Liberian democracy? And then you are engaging in a gangster conduct because it's only gangsterism that your government zoom into people places with all such warrant. Who going to tell him that the national police is not engaging in gangster conduct? Who is going to tell Mr. Bouacar that when you kill other people's children, your children may not be safe too? Who going to tell him that when you continue to violate the law that you took oath to protect, using nefarious means, you open the door to any and everything? Because there's a maxim in law that says when you don't abide by the law, you don't operate in the ambit of the law will not protect you. If Bouacar is the first to violate the law, what law there to say you're not moving if you want to move in any way you mean, or what you want to do? Even though the Constitution is very clear, it gives us the right for our own satisfaction, for the peace of our country, to assemble peacefully and to petition our legislature to do right. If Bouacar continue to do this, if he's the first person to violate the law, why should he be telling us that the law should protect him? Which law should protect him? The law he violating every day and telling the people to violate? Where can you see this? So Bouacar is undermining the peace of our country. Up to today's day, the government has not said a word.
Now, Anthony Jackson, amidst all of this, the group of people that are implementing Ambassador Bouacar's action or President Bouacar's action are the police. What do you make of the police action based on all these things you're explaining, all these circumstances? Presided over by properly your own brother, Greg Coleman.
Yeah. Brother, the country is bigger than my relationship with Greg. Let me say this to all of us. And it was Abraham Lincoln who said that the fate of American democracy was in the hands of ordinary people. The fate of Liberian democracy lies in the hands of ordinary Liberian people. Liberian people need to stand up and say no to the continual violations of the law. You see, the national legislature is setting a dangerous precedent. It is conducting itself in a rubber stamp manner. And I'm appalled that the legislature is comprising a bunch of self-seekers, self-interested individuals, spineless, that when Bouacar's national security apparatus started the first action, when President Weah was coming to returning to the country, Bouacar decided to politicize the military. He used the military to go on the side wall to police peaceful civilians who were happy to welcome President Weah back to the country. I said on one of these shows, I don't know whether it was this show or other show, I said, this is what happened with Grade D policy when Samuel Kanya Doe tried to politicize the military. Today, the police is being politicized. Boaka is politicizing the national security apparatus. And people are not talking. Even the judiciary, not even the judiciary, but our justice system is being weaponized against perceived political opponents. My friend, I would digress and make this point because it's critically important to make this point. That Boaka is undermining all of the institutions, the democratic institutions in the country. Boaka is today weaponizing the judiciary or the justice system of our country when he imposes a charge or when he charges individual and then they manipulate the system to deny those people who are accused of wrongdoing from getting a bail bond. That is a politicization, that is a weaponization of the justice system. If Boaka say he want to fight corruption as he's telling people and lying about it, when you want to fight corruption, when you level charges against people, they may enjoy their right to get out of a bail bond, appearance bond. Today, some of the people who are accused by the former CDC government, by the Boaka administration, including my friend Samuel Twe, they've been doing everything to deny Samuel Twe an appearance bond, manipulating all the insurance institutions in the country to deny the brother an appearance bond. This is not right. Somebody, let me sure say, somebody got to tell Boaka he carrying our country down. I know some of my friends in United Party because they want to get job. They lie on some of us. We want a job. That's why we associated with the CDC briefly. But today, some of the ranking people, some of the so-called intellectuals from Lofa have not said anything with the exception of Molu. They are not condemning the action of Mr. Boaka, putting the country in handcuffs and dragging it to hell. You put our country in handcuffs and drag it to hell when you do not get a such warrant and you zoom and violate the sanctity of people's private properties. It's wrong. Where are the governments of this world? Where are the governments of the world that the PPCC law will be violated and they will not say a mumbling word? Where are the government of this world that the police will zoom into people's private home without such warrant in violation of Article 21 of the Liberian Constitution? Where are they?
The issue you're raising about such warrant is very, very, very sensitive because it's also controversial at the moment where I'm hearing that a clerk is in jail because he falsified, I think, the signature of somebody over a search warrant issue. So that's a legal issue that will come back to you all. Guar, Robert, we'd like to welcome you to the show. Tomalin Josh is off. Lofa Julius is also listening. But let me go back quickly to Aving. Aving, I saw you stage series of protests and series of press conferences today. First of all, is it true that there was any life lost at the CDC headquarters today? Can you confirm or deny that? And other issues that precipitated what happened at the CDC headquarters. Can you just drill us through what happened at 4 a.m.?
Well, thank you, Comrade Corbiere. Let me say this, that I did not stage a protest. What we did was to come in defense of the revolutionary supremacy of the indomitable mighty Congress for Democratic Change. I want to be here on record. I owe nobody, absolutely no apologies. When a state becomes excessively paranoid, nervous, and jet on everything, and to the extent it uses brutal force, it goes after its opponents, using the doctrine of Machiavelli to calm down, to harass, and to threaten, so that major voices in the opposition bloc can be silent. it becomes the inherent revolutionary obligation of young men and women to rise to the occasion and to protect the sovereignty and the sanctity of our democracy. So for the records, I did not stage a protest, but the people came in defense of an idea that was birthed long before our existence. Salute to the brave, precious young men and women of the CDC. They were paying homage to the death of Graduate Mary Coman, who was brutalized and killed November 7, 2011.
So Ivan, excuse me, this Lofa, excuse me. I don't know whether you misunderstood the question from Alex. The question was, can you confirm as to whether there was a death at the CDC headquarters? Can you confirm
Yes.
whether there was a death? That was
Yeah,
the
just
question.
letting the
Thank you.
premise. Yes, somebody was killed. One of our cadres was killed, was murdered, and 25 others were arrested. As I speak to you, they've been placed behind bar. Several others were wounded. So you see, the political plot being organized, being orchestrated, when the war, a government that's supposed to be responsible will go to the major opposition party as early as 4 a.m. to do what? To look for what? So this is the kind of a republic, a military republic. We are running a frontal state, when the police state. If a public doesn't know, this country has survived under dangerous dictators, very dangerous. Then Mr. Bwakai, let me go ask the two party that masqueraded and paraded with arrogance. The young people of this country, the CDC, the history of confrontation will confront the arrogance of the United Party. Let me ask.
Now, I mean,
There were dictators five, dictatorial.
The public wants
Then
to
Samuel
know.
Kayado. Let me lay on
The
this.
public wants to know. Just
Alex.
before I go to Robert quickly, Avin, the public wants to know what makes the CDC headquarters different from other political party headquarters. That you get people stay stationed there at 4 o'clock in the morning. What are they doing there at that time of the night? And why is it that the LDA is going there at 4 a.m. in the morning? Because it means your office is not locked at 4 a.m. It means you stay open to the public. What are you doing at that time of the night?
Alex, the CDC headquarters is the macrocosm of grassroots democracy. The CDC headquarters, it is the heartbeat of our contemporary politics. The CDC headquarters is a center of political gravity in Liberia's contemporary democracy. So if you were to ask why the people see, they believe, they obey, they follow the revolutionary itinerary and the historical itinerary of the CDC. So people are always there. So it is not a question about why the people are there. The question is that the government is panicking. The CDC has sent a shock wave of spine in the camp of the United Party. Alex, since the day we organized the Meditation, the rejuvenation, since the day we organized the setback assembly, the mass assembly of the people, the mobilization of the people became more intensive. The people start to mobilize themselves to organizations, to communities, coming back very strong. Since that proclamation, the United Party government has retreated into a strategy of militancy. And since we cannot silence the people democratically, we cannot deal with the very important issues in the country. So we cannot deal with the economic issues, the high cost of living in the country. They say, oh, the CDC, if we can go after them, we silence them, the young people will run away, they will flee, they'll go outside. But let me say this to you. If CDC will be defeated, if CDC will fall, it will not be in our generation. We challenge the United Party. Like we stood up 12 years under the decadence of the last doctor of the Tuwi party, under the decadence of the last doctor of the reactionary Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and Joseph Nyimabwaka, and survive, the CDC will remain a revolutionary, great concern in the politics of the country. So
let me hold you there and come to Robert. Robert is one of our panelists on the show. But if you're listening, we are on Spoon FM. We are on Truth FM, 96.1. Truth has a branch in Nimba and other branches across the country. We are on Hot FM. We are on YouTube. We are on Facebook. This is the closing argument. We got Robert Gagwa here. We got Chief Tomalin George. We got Ben Sanvee. We got Grace Gagwa. We got Dr. Peabody. We got Professor Larry Kennedy. We got Lofa Julius. I'm Toga Alexander Beard. We're on the show. We got Anthony Acid Jackson as our guest tonight. We got Alvin Wisser and we got Representative Frank Safoko. These people are analyzing what happened today in Monrovia, in Concord Town, at the CDC's headquarters. Let's go to Robert. Robert, you might have some question for some thoughts about what our panelists are saying. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. It's great to be back on. And Isaac, it's been a minute. I haven't seen you, so welcome back, my friend.
Thank you.
Ivan, I have never interacted with you before. Welcome to the closing argument. But before I ask my question, I want to say this, and to my brother Togai, and I think you're playing the devil advocate, so this is not towards you. But as far as I'm concerned, Liberia does not have, and I stand corrected, but can someone tell me if there's a curfew in Liberia? Do we have a curfew in Liberia?
No.
Okay, so if we don't have a curfew,
that would be a legal question for Anthony.
If we don't have a curfew in Liberia, then citizens, peaceful citizens of the country, are free to move about whenever they want. So be it 1 o'clock in the morning, be it 4 o'clock in the morning, be it 5 o'clock in the morning, citizens can move around about their business peacefully, right? As long as they're not armed robbing anyone or doing anything outside of the boundaries of the laws. And so the question as to what are citizens doing at the headquarters at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, that's the business of citizens. Being out at 4 o'clock in the morning is not a violation of any laws, and it does not police should not be going out there because they're out there. And so that's one. Two, I listened to my friend, my dear sister, Mandela Cooper today. And when she said that the Unity Party have waged war on two things, drugs and illegal weapons. I thought it was a mistake when she specifically said that intelligence has revealed that there are weapons in the backyard of the headquarters of CDC. And so I know she's listening. To my dear sister, if there are weapons in the backyard of the CDC, or if there are illegal weapons in any home for that matter, the proper and legal way to proceed to actually ascertain if that is factual is to seek a search warrant from the court. You don't have to have police roaming the headquarters of a political party that you've contested with through a very close election. You don't need that. We have many political parties in our country. Why are the police not roaming the parties of the Liberty Party, for instance? Why are the police not roaming the headquarters of the MPP? Why are the police not roaming other parties' headquarters? Why is there a constant police presence at the headquarters of the CDC? And you're talking about because intelligence has revealed that there are guns, illegal guns. And so how do you go about searching for those illegal guns? By threatening citizens? You can't do that. And so I just want to lay that premise. I think what happened today is very, very unfortunate. The government, each of us, have a responsibility to uphold the peace in our country. But the major responsibility lies in the hands of this government. This government has a responsibility to maintain the peace in our country. And some of the actions that I've seen so far, provokes and creates an environment of chaos and violence. And we cannot do this to our country. We cannot do this to our country. The world is watching. We've got to be very careful how we make decisions and how we move. Like the war has ended in our country. Every single Liberian is protected under the constitution of our country. People should be able to assemble peacefully at any time. Sedition headquarters is legally acquired. They pay bills over there. It's not owned by the government. It's not owned by the police. They can move in and out of that place whenever they choose to. And if any of our security apparatus wishes to search that place, there's a legal right to do that. And so we got to be careful. And so here's my question to Ivan. You talked about coming in defense. And as much as this government responsibility is to protect and maintain the peace, each of us also have the right to protect and maintain our peace. I know this is a fine line that you guys are walking on. But when you say came in defense, I want to ask you this. George Weah is a peaceful man. George Weah is the head of this revolution. I understand that you guys are being poked. I understand that this government is using tactics to basically say, look, these guys are violent. This is the reason why we are there. Strategically thinking, I want you to answer this question. What kind of defense mechanism have you guys put in place to resist or to respond to police brutality or anything that you consider unconstitutional that are not violent?
Well, thank you, Robert, for the brilliant question. Our defense is in the context of ideological defense. The CDC is a belief system that speaks fundamentally about the democratic takeover of the grassroots masses of our people. And we believe that insofar the political elite has monopolized the political economy of this country after 133 years. There has been a fundamental radical departure of the grassroots masses of our people to move into history and make history in terms of being authentic carriers of their own destiny. So we say defense is ideological, it's political, it's revolutionary. It has nothing to do with violence. If anyone is violent in this country, the Unity Party is the macrocosm of industrialized violence. I just cited instances. What happened to RIA? Well, a former president, former senator, a peace icon will come to your country and deploy segment of the armed forces of the Republic of Liberia. And you are not questioning the government? Robert, you are a patriot. What happened yesterday at LSCC? We want to have the chairman of the CDC Progressive Legislative Caucus, Chairman McGill. He saw the barrack of weaponized and heavily armed men. What's going on in the country? And you're not asking questions. On July 4, there was an assembly of police officers. After elections 2023, you won elections on the margin of error and gave it the country. So go and govern. And you come back to the people and say you shoot the people. You kill the people. And you did to the people's children, buried them in cold blood, November 2011. And you think young men who were inspired by the peace icon, the legendary George Weah, we say back, no, we have nothing, we have no weapons. If we have quote unquote weapons, as the regime is saying, nobody will have weapons and give and give or turn over a government under 17,000. It's not possible. It's not possible in Sierra Leone. It's not possible in Nigeria. Nobody. So it is a blatant, fallacious, mischievous lie being orchestrated by the United Party just to intimidate the CDC for the real governance issue. And we will be distracted. Come here, where are the real governance issues? The CDC has asked fundamental questions. Who took 8 million from central bank? We want to know. We want to know. Where is the accountability on the 22.4 million? And he bet to Dr. Roy, he said, yeah, that's a petty air. The CDC asking questions. The young people, the Revolutionary National Youth League is taking steps and ask questions. What happened to Mr. Sylvester Gillespie, who took 500,000? And there's no accountability being provided thus far. What happened to the resources of the people? Where is it that's happening in the country where there's some dismissal of citizens of this country? You dismiss poor people even when they make 150 United States dollars in a country where the economy is backward, reactionary. What happened to our people in Kinjor? What's happened to the people? So it is not about violence here, because the CDC is not into violence. You know very well. So I can somebody insinuate that because the party headquarters is already, they always engaged people there day and night. Who doesn't like that party headquarters? The CDC is the biggest, foremost, largest mass base, masses driven up opposition political party in this country. How dare you say there will be no people? How dare you say the place will be empty? It's not a united party. It is a movement. It's a movement of people. It's an idea that metamorphosed into revolutionary movement of the people. So let me make that clear. And let me say this for you. We have an intelligence that two things going to happen tomorrow. This is an intelligence. The state security is going there for another dangerous attack at the headquarters of the CDC. I'm saying this. I'm talking about tomorrow. They will go there tomorrow again. We have gathered that information. The top intelligence bureau of the UP has uncovered that the state security is going back there to unleash and to inflict another casualty on the masses of our people. And also, the political leader have been told through our intelligence by either tomorrow they'll be going to a house. Now what they did this morning, the houses of the former president of the Republic of Benin and the current political leader of the Intermittent Martyr Congress for Democratic Change will be besieged, will be attacked tomorrow. And so we count on the government, ECOWAS, we count on our international partners to tell Mr. Baka this is not the best way to go. You have a simple mandate.
What would you consider to be a weakness?
You have a simple mandate. But again, when the government
What would you consider to be
lacks democratic legitimacy,
a weakness? Doesn't have always
without a popular mandate of the masses of our people, the government will deploy strategies to maintain power. So those are all.
I like to hold you. I like to hold you there quickly. I don't know if Rabba wants to come back with a second question, which is one of our basic policies on the show. But Anthony Jackson, you've listened to all of these. What you think is a solution now for Liberia's problem? Do you think this issue is going to end? Do you think this rivalry is going to continue? Do you think, like Alvin Wisse has said, this matter is not ending today?
Yeah.
It's going to be a long haul. What do you see here?
Alex, I think it's important for us to deal with this issue in a cool-headed manner. I know all of the sensible people who supported Bouaka, I know they are not celebrating now. I know they are holding their breath as Boaka continued to double down into his lack of leadership. What he's effectively doing is to resurrect the ugly ghost of Liberia past, where the ruling party government treated and reacted to the opposition like black snake. Because the CDC is an opposition political party now, you think you can violate the sanctity of their headquarters and go unpunished. It is not the way to govern the country. And that's what I pick up on Michelle Obama. Who going to tell Boaka that he's on the wrong path? The national security advisor to Mr. Boaka has a human rights record. He's supposed to be one of the towering human rights activists or icons in our country. How come he's sitting quietly, supinely, and Boaka is routinely violating the law and opening the door to violence in the country?
You mean Councillor Kofi Woos?
What? No, yeah, brother. What are they going to tell our people tomorrow if the country were to get on fire? What is Kofi going to be telling our people? Kofi, you sitting down supinely, and CDC is being harassed. Even the Bible we read, if you read Ephesians properly, the Bible, Ephesians says the parents should not provoke their children. The CDC has been provoked. And you asked a very, interesting question, and I like the way my friend, dealt with it. How in the world you going to ask me what am I doing on my post 5 a.m. in the morning? It's not your business. That's my post. That's my private property. No curfew in the country. What are you doing? What is Mr. Boaka doing? The intellectuals in our country from Lofa, for them, they believe they have won a Ballon d'Or. So for them, all the intellectuals from Lofa have suspended their critical faculties with the exception of Molu. It's a shame that even Central has declared Boaka government to be tribalistic. And people from Lofa are not concerned. Tomorrow, God forbid, if the country were to plunge into another violence, and they start asking for where you come from, is that the time Gafani will talk? You think they're supposed to tell Boaka now that the government cannot be a watch with Soso Lofie? That people from Nimba supported you, Mr. Boaka? And you owe it to them too, that Liberians of all walks of life supported you, and that the cabinet cannot be entirely of unity party. When are they going to lift their voice? Oh, was it just about Boaka becoming president, so we got a Lofa president? Is everything okay in the country? That the central bank governor, the law, and Gafan knows the act established in the central bank and the amended act. He knows it. He can recite it. That act say you cannot remove the central bank governor without impeachment proceeding by the Senate. How can Boaka have? You're coming. Let me just say this. How can the Gafan who knows the central bank, who served in the central bank before, sitting down so calmly? The government who can recite the PPCC law. How come President Boaka is procuring yellow machine in violation of that procurement law? And he's still keeping quiet. Is it because Boaka is from Lofa? If he's from Lofa, he's supposed to be finance minister? Do you really love our country, or you love Boaka above our country?
Earlier today, Anthony Jackson, one of our panelists said 3 issues, and I wanted you. And maybe later on, Arvin can weigh in, and even Guar can weigh in later on. And he was talking about the issues surrounding the Boaka's administration. He was talking about one of those issues being the way he's arranging the key stakeholders within the government, quote unquote, Lofa das in there. So it's a whole tribalistic system which can create and impede progress. He was talking about opportunities being created, and he even sent us an article which said that any country where the young people of that country are not properly included in terms of job creation and other opportunities, you are headed for trouble. similar situation with Liberia, no job opportunity in the last 7 months and all of that. And then he was talking about an inclusion of the political class. You know, every country, you almost technically have the political class. So the political class is not the group of people who going to sell cold water again. They're not going to set in a Lebanese man or a Fula man store anymore. They're not going to sell Pepe Kala. The political class is there. By you not including the political class, where President Bouaka has not even been able to arrange a meeting of all of these actors for the last 7 months, are all going to be problematic for him and how he runs the country in the next 6 years. What do you make of that?
No, I think Bouaka is not interested in consolidating the peace of the country and the culture of democracy in the country. When he happens to be the first person to violate the law. When you violate the law, you think you're consolidating peace? No. You're basically fanning the flame of violence. When you uproot people from their position, from their job, this government say, well, not about job, but Bouaka violated the whole constitution because he wanted to give certain people job. Even though thousands of poor people, millions of poor people voted for him, it's not about the poor people anymore. It's about Bouaka's bulldogs. You know what I mean? So, brother, you can talk at you can articulate the concept of political inclusion, which is basically aimed at consolidating democracy in countries all across the world. But Bouaka will definitely hate ears because it is not in his nature. He is a vindictive character. Imagine Bouaka is basically disrobing an honorable title given to Julie Andy out of political vengeance. But you think anybody really who want to lead any country would do what the shameless, inelegant thing that Bouaka done? This was just an honorable title. I was assistant minister for culture. But Julie Andy doesn't take pay. It's an honorable title accorded her for her passion and the role she played in that sector of the country. You're going to disrobe her because you believe she didn't support you. Everybody who did not support Bouaka not supposed to die or supposed to be walking around without any honor. What kind of country is this that Bouaka is leading? And Gafwan, they are in the background and applauding him. And Kofi Wu is sitting down there and keeping quiet. The people now are arguing that we are did this, but if we are did this and it was bad for which we remove it, how can Bouaka doing it and you're applauding him? How can you not realize that this argument is ridiculous to the point of being insane? Who are those that are making that argument? It's like Godfrey are saying, oh yeah, see these people there, so we gotta do it too. Who doing it? It's like Coffee Who put them on the platform. Let's keep an impartial conversation about our country. Let's elevate the discourse. Because if we are did it and it was bad, we condemn it. When Bouaka does it, we should condemn it because it's bad. This is what Liberia should be. Then I know we are intelligent people and we can stand up tomorrow and say we spoke when he was doing bad. But if you allow all the Lofa people to be wheeled back into government, even though some of them are chronically incompetent, then tomorrow when people start going to the Lofa people, what do you say? Samuel Kanya though did this. It did not help our country. Though promoted tribalism, he ethnicized the government. It brought fire in the country. Bouaka is doing that. He walked in the path. Center have blown the whistle on Bouaka. He's not stopping. He will dismiss a guy from Grand Jide who should not be dismissed and replace the guy not just with somebody from Lofa, but his personal relative. Is it not violating our constitution that says we should not promote nepotism? Gafwan and Kofi Wu, are they seeing this? Are they paying attention or they don't care too? Because we are there. Is that the argument tomorrow? I need to hear from them. Because we all went to the same school. We all have advocacy credential. For them, everything okay now? That even though the central bank governor is protected by the act established in that institution, that even though the central bank should not be politicized, Bouaka had done this. Nobody's saying anything. Even the military security apparatus is being politicized and nobody cares to say anything. The national security apparatus should not be politicized. That's why the AFL women demonstrated, because they believe Prince Johnson was deeply politicized. He should not head the military. Boaka brought somebody from Lofa is not heading the military. When civilian police, when civilian people are going to welcome we are Boaka will put the military aside.
Anthony Jackson. Let me hold you
First,
there. Let me
no,
quickly
let me
bring in.
land this. Let me
Let
land
me
my point.
quickly.
Let me
Let me
land this
quickly.
quickly. Ellis, let me land
Let me
this. You ask
quickly
a
bring
question.
in.
Ellis,
Yeah.
let me land
Let
my
me just
thought
bring
on
in
this. You know,
Gakwa
Ellis,
quickly.
one
Let me
minute.
bring in
Let me
Gakwa
land my thought on it.
1
Ellis,
minute.
1 minute. Let
Yes.
me land my thought on this. Let me
Okay,
land my thought
please.
on this. Because you know
All right.
I'm work when you call me. I'm
Exactly.
saying all of these things because for me, it matter later where they go to CDC compound. What matter is if we do not do the right thing to protect the democracy. The Lord that brought Boaka here soon and very soon we all hold ourselves to blame. When the president of the republic, in the name of fighting corruption, will weaponize the justice system against sedition, it's a terrible thing. You weaponize the justice system when you accuse my friend Robert that he committed a crime that he stole, but you go and intimidate all the insurance companies to not give him bill bond. What are you doing? You weaponizing the justice system. It's bad as bad can be. We need to tell Boaka he can't run the country in the ground. He giving people reason to not abide by the law because he's the first to violate the law. If the president is the first to
Anthony
violate the law,
Jackson,
who should
Anthony
abide by
Jackson,
the law?
Anthony Jackson, Anthony Jackson, please don't go give us 5 more minutes because you just added a new discussion about weaponizing the judiciary. That was not even on the list.
But
You
you
see,
weaponize the justice system. You, 1 minute,
you
Ellis,
just added
Ellis,
that one there. You just
Ellis,
added
Ellis,
that one there.
Ellis,
Yes.
Ellis. You know, but you weaponize the justice system when you do not go to get what warrant. It's such warrant, and you
In fact,
zoom into
they
people
bypassed
privacy
it.
property.
It's my understanding that somebody was just giving you $1,000 to issue something.
But is that
But
a
but
way to
but
run the
but
country?
Gakwa, what you make of the three issues we're talking about? Then we go to having the issues of. I mean, ASI has raised the issue of nepotism, the issue of tribalism, the issue of opportunities to be created for young people, and all these issues that are characterizing the Broadcast administration. Additionally, he's even named about weaponizing the judiciary and all of that. You think this is our problem? You think we
I
need
think
some adjustments?
I think this and more have become our problem. And to some extent, I think that we ourselves have become our own problems, right? Because the Liberian people have got to know what was best for them. The question is, do they? I was talking to a friend today, and they said, "But why is Alice Cummings quiet?" And my question to him, after thinking, I said, "Well, what should he say?" The Liberian people made a choice. Alex and other decent candidates were on the ballots. These guys spent over 15 months on our platform and on many other platforms articulating their vision for the country. And part of that vision for the country was an inclusive government. And what did they say? They said, no, we want Boaca. Boaca has a record of 40 years. And we on this very platform argue against that on the premise of Boaca was not the alternative to George Weah and CDC if the message or if the focus was change. Change is just not any kind of word. It's an action word, right? It's not something you just say. You've got to act and you've got to make sure that you have what it takes to really bring about change. Joseph Boaca and Unity Party, uh, you know, even to the blind man, does not represent change. This is what you get. This is what you get. He has not formed a government of inclusion. He has not done that. Joseph Boaga, as the elder, has not been able to bring all of his younger brothers together in the room. And you can talk about George Weah all day. We can disagree with him all day. But it's clear when he became elected, he had an economic forum where he brought together political opponents from all walks in the country, where discussions were held on national issues. What are your thoughts on this issue when it comes to peace? What are your thoughts on this issue when it comes to youth empowerment? What are your thoughts on these issues when it comes to the economy? People did not like that. Sedition did not like that. They thought he was being too kind. But that was a great thing to do, because after a contested and close election, great leaders go into governance. You want to bring the country together. What has Joseph Boakai done to bring the country together? I have never seen an election so close and so tight as these past elections. I've never seen a president in Africa, before the actual vote are even counted, concede an election. That was an olive branch. So no matter how contested these elections were, no matter how crazy things were, I believe it was an opportunity for the elderly in the room to say, you know what? Election is over. Now it's time to lead. Joseph Boakai is not just president for Unity Party partisans. Joseph Boakai is not just president for those who voted for him. Joseph Boakai is not just president for those who yes sir him. Joseph Boakai is president for his worst critics. Joseph Boakai is president for every Liberian, not just for folks in Lofa County. This is the kind of leadership we expect. I didn't expect it, but this is the kind of leadership we need as a country. But we rejected those leadership, and we picked this. So again, look, we've got to lay in the bed that we've made. This is the situation right now. Nothing can be done about it. But here's what I would say.
Robert, let me pick up on the point Robert made 1 minute.
No. Let me land real quick. Let me land real quick. Let me land real quick on this note. Let me land real quick, please. Just 30 seconds. But let me say this. This is a message to my friends in Unity Party and to Joseph Boakai. Joseph Boakai is a few minutes away from my office right now as I speak. And I know that they're listening.
Is that why he's serving as the keynote speaker?
Absolutely. We have not heard anything yet, but that's it's a few minutes away from my office. But let me say this. And I heard that the president normally listens to our show by using somebody else's phone. So I know he's probably listening right now. So, Mr. President, let me say this. You've got to be wise. You're an elder for a reason. You've got to be wise. Politics doesn't last forever. Power does not last forever. As seditions, as Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, as Charles Taylor, as those who've tested power, it does not last forever. You've got to make some wise decisions in the interest of our country. You are the father of that land. Leave seditions alone. Leave these young men and women alone. Provide for them jobs and opportunities. This is why you were elected, to rescue the country. If you are asking questions about what they are doing at the CDC headquarters at 4 o'clock in the morning, guess what? If they had a job to be at 6 o'clock, they would be home resting.
They will be there. Exactly.
They will not be at the CDC headquarters. Provide for them opportunities to make them productive citizens.
Because the brothers don't have jobs, that's why they are the CDC headquarters at 4 a.m.
Absolutely. And until we do that, leave them alone. They can be out in the street at 4 o'clock in the morning. As long as they're doing nothing to anyone, leave them alone. There are many other parties. And on this last note, the war against drugs is not at the CDC headquarters. It's across the breadth of our country. It's not at the CDC headquarters. It did not start there. It must not end there. It's in the ghettos across of our country. They too need opportunity. We must be careful. We fought war for too long for this nonsense. We are playing with our peace. We will not allow anyone to play with our peace. People have investments in our country. People have built homes in our country, especially those of us who have worked hard for our money. We will not allow you to destroy what we've got. We must lead wisely. And to my brother, Arvin, and to citizens, I think you guys have got to put together a strategy here. You've got to put together a strategy and a more responsible. And let's trust me, I understand where you're coming from. But you've got to put together a strategy to respond to these attacks and these provoke. You have got to put together this, because here is the thing. You do not want to respond violently for people to say, well, we told you guys, that's why we were there. And what the government is doing is wrong. It's absolutely wrong. We need some elders in the room, and we need some folks in the room that got sense. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. I mean, we got some trickle stuff from the studio in Monrovia. But Tomalin, you've been making a lot of frantic calls. We've been trying to also get Representative Foko. He's having some internet challenge from his home. So I don't know. I told him to also call directly Tomalin's line, and then probably we can.
I'll let Toga frozen. But yeah, we're trying to contact the Justice Minister and the Director of Police, so because the issue raised by we said that people have planning to arrest him, but my understanding is that there have been no other issue, and anyone who's doing it, they're doing it on their own. So, but we're still trying to find her. I want to speak to them directly, not speak to their spokespeople. So, hope I can get to them. But as the show progresses, we have to make contact. But the days of people getting in plain clothes and affecting the rest of people, citizens, I think we have passed that time. I just saw a post from a journalist, Jala Griffey. Jala Griffey is saying that yes, he's saying that he said that he was attacked by 3 LPRC security riding a white double cabin pickup at Pipeline Road. About he said thanks to the bike riders and the retired security guy who saved him. So why would LPRC people? I mean, again, why would people be trying to do all these things to people? You know, and this is dangerous. We should not bring this country to the verge of chaos. Some of us we are old enough to know what the country have gone through. And most of the people, I see some people we were posting on Facebook today, thanking the police, yes, to do this. And the people that are posting making these posts are people who have not even gone to Liberia for over 3 decades. And they maybe they just have gone to Liberia recently, some of them, and they don't experience what we experienced. If you experience the 1990 war, the April 6th war, and everything, you won't be saying this. Liberia is in a fragile situation. You don't forget, Madam Salif had 18,000 foreign troops on the ground during her 12 years rule. That's why she was able to maintain the peace. And besides that, Madam Salif, she was in touch with the opposition leaders frequently. She had a lot of dialogues with President Weah at the time, of CDC leader, former President Weah, late Councillor Bromsky, and other opposition leaders. She kept in touch with them and to help maintain the peace. With the country being divided, it's just not the right thing to be doing. But I thought about now, the president would have extended his arms of friendship to opposition leaders, Mr. Cummings, President Weah, Conglo, Moneyba, all these guys that took part in the election, Simeon Freeman, all these guys, and so we'll have opened our arms with them and tell them, Lord, let's maintain the peace of this country and ensure that the country is built with everybody being involved. But all we have noticed is that every day we get up, one group is being targeted, another group being targeted, being selective. I don't think it's the right thing, the right way we are proceeding. And if we continue in this manner, things may get out of hand. Now, just imagine someone got a falsified arrest warrant today, went there and to issue the arrest warrant. And I heard that this warrant they were plan that was made long before by the LTA, long time ago. They made this plan to do these things, but then they feared that maybe by doing it they were going to be considered as heroes. So they made this plan. Went this morning 2 a.m. and they made resistance. They ran to the court this morning, and the Supreme Court people said, no, don't get us involved in our politics. So they went to another clerk, gained some money. He issued it now. Now today he's in jail because he did the wrong thing. And now why people have died today? Property have been destroyed today. I mean, we know yet what happened, but we're still trying to find out. But why are getting out of hand today? So would have happened. So it's important, it's imperative that the president set up an inquiry commission to find out what happened. Don't just come up with statements and say, oh, minister will come and say, oh, they condemn it. I mean, they're going to say this what happened. We'll let it go. No, because they have a president to escalate and so we hope that this thing is taken seriously and we see what happens. Keep keep
Tomalin.
us informed. Any attempt, I mean, from what I'm gathering, apparently what plan they had, perhaps they are discouraged that, they has changed that plan. But as you leave the studio, when you leave in the studio, keep us on the low. So we find out if anything happens to you, we'll raise the alarm. But I've been trying to contact the justice minister and the director of police, and somebody just told me, say, well, we know what you're talking about, but I won't talk to two of them. I'll understand, but right now let's keep our lines open and follow what happened. Yeah,
Look,
but go ahead, guys.
Tomalin.
Yeah.
Let me say this regarding what your suggestion and the quote unquote assurance I was giving you or not giving you. The suggestion that Boaka should hold these consultative meetings with political leaders. It is a suggestion that will lead nowhere because it is not part of his being. It's not part of his DNA. That Boaka will be chasing after Judy Andy, justify how petulant he is. So he will not bring a comic who he testify against falsely in court to diminish his substance. He will not want to go sit down with Kumi. He's not going to do. It's not part of his DNA. At this stage, I show Liberians are now waking up to the reality that Madam Sally was justified not to hold the hands of Mr. Boaka in public as a public endorsement. There were things that she knew that we did not know. At least the public is getting to know. But nobody who wants to consolidate peace in our country will preside over the mass dismissal of Liberians only because they supported the previous regime. If Boaka meant well for the country, he will be working assiduously hard to create a viable economy where people will get jobs. His solution will not be mass dismissal on the basis of political affiliation, even though Article 18 of the Liberian Constitution discourages this action by Mr. President. Article 18 of the Liberian Constitution says there should be no dismissal based on political affiliation. Don't remove somebody from the government because they support the previous government. That's Article 18 in a simplified version. Boaka is doing that. The EPS today, when they say, oh, people behind CDC hard, and look at someone else, so if you dismiss close to 400 or 300, whatever the number is, but let's say if you dismiss a sizable EPS people, where do you want them to go, Mr. Boaka? How is this wise? So I am saying to you, political vengeance is part of Mr. Boaka's nature. He's not going to get over it. For me now, I want a black list. I'm supposed to be enemy because I'm saying something critical. And all of these people who are Nini say critical things against, we are too. The Coffee Wood is a friend of mine. I respect him as a big brother. He's going to sit over there and he will not say a mumbling word about all of the violations that Mr. Boaka doing, the violence he's doing to our law. What will become of them tomorrow? What will become? My friend Tomodona, respected guy, because he took a job in CDC. See how Tomodo ended his political career. Please talk a venerated artist. People say all kind of things about him. Some of them think will even lie. Today, Coffee, you're going to market everything you work for because you want to be security advisor in a regime that flagrantly and blatantly violating our laws, and will go to another political headquarters and institute violence only because you want to be security advisor? When are you going to say your truth? Even the moral conscience of our society, the moral voice of our society, the council of churches, stretching a backbone and criticize, condemn Boaka for corruption, and condemn Boaka for taking the lives of 5 young people in Cape Man. Boaka killing poor people, children, and giving them $1,000. How is it justified? That's what I said. When I started the show, I said, if you kill other people's children and you think your children will be saved, you got to rethink. It's not the way to go. Don't kill other people's children. You kill other people's children, nothing happen. And you think that's the way to go our country? No, that's not the way to lead our country. So, comrades and friends, We need to stand up. I think the Liberian people need to stand up. Maybe I'll be making this thing as a parting statement saying I got to go back to work. But I think the Liberian people need to stand up for themselves. Stand up for our country, democracy. Remind yourself every day about what Abraham Lincoln said. He said, the fate of democracy is in the hands of poor people. That's why we got the jury system. So the jury of your peer will convict you. To stand up for our democracy means we got to protest against bad action that will retrogress the country, that will carry the country back to that ugly past. When you see military people showing up at political rally or just to welcome president, that's what Grady Addison did. We see it happening again. We see it happening. Chad Jululen did that. They politicized the military so much that all the opposition leaders had to be target, legitimate target. Death squad all over the place. Some of these people today behind Bwaka, they were associated with the Black Beret. Don't forget, brother. Don't forget what president happy. Don't forget. Black Beret was another elite force organized by Dr. Soto to keep around. When they had Charles were in that nonsense, and there were people who headed the Black Beret. They are beyond Bwaka. Don't forget, brother. People know how to organize death squad. When they start going to political party headquarters, and
All right, I think they call him back to work.
Oh, so we had an issue there. So then, I think we pick up with Avin. Avin, are you hearing us?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, good. So Avin, one of the issues a lot of people, when you just leave power.
So comrades. I'm sorry, I was speaking. I was speaking. So comrades.
Yeah.
All that I'm saying I think now is the time. Yeah, I'm closing because I gotta go. I gotta go to work. I'm closing. I'm just saying to all of our friends in Unity Party, the sensible ones, not those desiccated ones who will applaud Bwaka, even if you're doing the worst thing. Adolf Hitler in Germany, who killed all those Jews, even when he started his murderer regime, people were clapping for him. So I know there are people who are not sensible, insensible people will still be clapping for Bwaka, and he lay on Liberians. He dismissed scores of Liberians for supporting we are. Some insensible people, they will be clapping for Bwaka as he does violence to our laws. I'm not talking to those people. I'm talking to those sensible ones. The legs of coffee, who got something to protect tomorrow, who got a future. I'm not talking about the nicotine stealing lips or Dylan who will just spew all lies. These people who are lying today, they can't say anything now. Bwaka embarrassing other day. I'm not talking to people like Dylan there because he is a congenital liar and he will continue to engage in a lying habit. I'm talking to people like Gafwan who from Lofa and thinking like, oh yeah, let me see what I can hustle with Bwaka. When I find out minister again, maybe I'll be able to farm on the campaign. No, you got to say something. If our country is in trouble, we got to speak out. If Bwaka is doing the wrong thing, let's speak out. I know nobody in age 80 will do everything perfectly. But this thing is becoming overwhelming now. The violation is as long as my arm's length, just in 6 months, not even a year. It's concerning. So intelligent people, sensible people need to now speak out. That is the surest way to sustain peace. That will be the surest way to consolidate the peace. If we do not do this, because every action has an equal and opposite reaction. You can't go to somebody who has violated their sanctity, violated their private property right without any such warrant, and you think they will fold their hand and welcome you. No, don't do it. So if you continue to do this, if you continue to dial in this, you are inviting violence. And we don't want violence anymore. We need peace in our country. And I think the president, if he really needs peace, he has to be the first person to set example by following the law. You can't go to people who with such warrant. You can't violate the Constitution. Don't remove people. You keep removing people. All of these are wrong and cannot be justified on any ground. So I thank you for having me tonight. I shall come back the next time when I'm invited. Thank you very much. Let's hold the peace. I say to people out there, if you are not listening to closing argument, if you listen to other radio stations, you're not listening to closing argument, you are choosing darkness over light because closing argument is the light. Listen to closing argument. you will be
We
elected.
Dog
Thank you
Jack.
very much.
we
Tony
we
Isaac
need
David
our
Jackson Jr.
Alfred to be
Dog
playing
Jack.
regularly.
Always good
But
to have you, man.
thank you,
Bro,
Isaac. Thank
right.
you very
In
much.
the next 5 minutes, we're taking calls. Like people want to weigh in, they want to call. So we'll open the lines. You guys can be posted numbers up so they can call. People want to weigh in on the situation happened today. So we can continue. The next 5 minutes, we'll go to the phone line.
Yes. So having, having you listen to us way on, in all the issues and stuff like that. The same thing we're talking about, the unemployment issue, the tribal issue, the lack of inclusiveness. I say I to the issue of the judiciary being weaponized. Do you think these are issues that have characterized the Boakas administration, and does he need to fix them?
Well, like I've said, and I continue to see, the government of the Unity Party and its rescue mission obsession has not provided a clear policy direction about how she intends to govern the country. I know that they presented something that was not really transparent, a politically translucent document called arrest document. That's not been explained to the Liberian people. And they have not provided any ways to implement. And that was suffering them. The Unity Party is actually struggling. They are struggling about the real governance issues. So, Alex, this is a diversionary tactics. The intent is that we'll deploy the strategy. It's a strategy to sway the minds of the Liberian people on the real issues. They are doing everything possible to scapegoat the indomitable Martin Congress for Democratic Change in the name of arbitrary arrest, summary dismissal, political coercion, and systematic intimidation of political attacks by using state security for political purposes. This is wrong. The Liberian people are not going to fall for this machination. We thought the Unity Party government that has echoed so much so about corruption, but now will have told us who took the 20 million for the national budget, the national budget. 20 million disappear in thin air from the budget presented, and all fingers have been pointed towards the executive. They must give account. They to us the wouldn't be business as usual. What happened to the 8 million that was taken from the central bank to support and fund the Unity Party campaign given to Mr. Baka? They need to account. What happened to Mr. Tue, the board for APRC? 9 million with no legislative approval for that money. Today, we need accountability. We need transparency. We need a comprehensive financial report on how the usage of the 9 million from APRC boss, Mr. Tue. Not only that, 500,000 as well. We raised so those are the issues. The Unity Party promise that upon coming to power, civil servants would have experienced increment in their salaries. Where is the increment in civil servant salaries? Where the 10,000 young people that they promised would have been given ICT knowledge to enhance their productive capacity in the area of technology? Where are the many jobs, the investors that they promised would have come to Liberia? Where the yellow machine? How far have the situation of the yellow machine gone? Those are the issues. Look at how cost of living. Look at the rest price in the country. All the United Party does is to chase after motorcyclists, beat them, alienate them, isolate them, harass and terrorize these motorcyclists. What happened? Run behind Jana Boys in Redland, in Rana Street, in Broad Street, in Central Moravia, going after people who have tenure positions. And arbitrarily, we take them and replace them with party figures. What happened to civil servants? Some were dismissed. EPS, 500 plus of them were arbitrarily dismissed, and today they have not been given their just benefits. So these are the issues happening in the country.
And I repost that all these EPS officers you're talking about, I think over 200-300 of them, you are hosting them at the CDC headquarters. How true is that?
I don't know why you say we are hosting them. You claim that these people supported the former president of the Republic of Liberia. That is a claim. And if that claim is true, if that assertion is true, then who do they go to? Who should they go to? If you say we dismiss EPS people because they work in job we are gone, they were in the citizen administration, and when you put them down, where should they go? So, Toga, it makes no sense. Is that the reason that you go after the headquarters of the Congress for Democratic Change at 4 a.m. in the morning? Is that the reason that you go to the Rwanda International Airport and deploy men of the armed forces of the Republic of Liberia and members of the Liberia National Police? Is that the reason that you have not been able to address the very important issues in the country? Is that the reason you're chasing after motorcyclists, running behind motorcyclists? Is that the reason that you're running behind marketeers, market women, young boys? Is that the reason that you have increased rice price in this country? Is that the reason that you're displacing Liberian citizens in the country? I think it is wrong, it is myopic, it is backward, it's reactionary. We think that the United Party has a mandate, and if they understand that they do not have what it requires, what it takes to govern, them is a bugger needs to resign honorably.
I mean,
but to start
quickly before I get back to Tomalin, let me run you to something about the in fact you led that team that went to the LACC when Senator McGill went to the LACC. What was it like? Was it to stop Senator McGill from facing LACC inquiry? Was it a solidarity call? What was it?
Under our law, the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia under Article 17 provides the fundamental, inalienable constitutional democratic franchise for free assembly. And not only that, Chairman McGill is the former chairman of the Congress for Democratic Change, by extension the Coalition for Democratic Change, and subsequently, at the level of the 55th National Legislature, he chairs the Legislative Progressive Caucus of the Interminable Matter Congress for Democratic Change. So we have all rights, political rights, constitutional rights, and democratic rights, honor, civil liberties, civil disobedience to assemble. So yes, we went there as it is required by our party to provide moral support. What's wrong? Come here for Panelists of the Congress for Democratic Change to provide moral support to one of its chairpersons. What is wrong about that? What is wrong for people to assemble and say to LSCC that you should not politicize the fight against corruption? Because the LSCC will not have the moral equivalence to call upon Minister McGill, Chairman McGill, Senator McGill Kante, when there are lieutenants and cascades or convocates of corruption charges and allegations on the very government on Joseph Nyimabwaka. But no, the real intent, the reason behind this particular call or Temamagale LCC was to divert his attention because Temamagale and the list of Representative Musa Hassan Penalty are part of the few lawmakers that raise legitimate legislative oversight over the mysterious disappearance of $20 million United States dollars from the national budget. And the executive on account. So in order to divert, thwart, and manipulate the fight against that process, the guys deploy this elementary political chicanery and diversionary tactic. So that was the reason. So that was the reason why when you saw there was no merit, why you employ people on supplementary payroll, why you gave people contracts, and the guys could not say anything. So you call the former Minister of State for Presidential Affairs a serious issue, the premier and foremost anti-graft institution in the Republic of Liberia. The whole world was expecting you to ask real question about if there was real money stolen in the country. We're not going to go ask the man what you employ people for. You wasted the people time. So, in a sense, the abuse of power, it happened during the time of Samarkand Doe, it happened during the time of Charles Taylor, it happened under the United Party 12 years, and it has been repeated. And that's what George Satayanas once said, that those who refuse to read history are bound to repeat the mistakes of the past. And so we want to be clear.
I think
we want to be emphatic.
Are we set for?
Yeah, you gotta go to the lines. The full lines. The lines are open now.
We set for some calls now.
Yeah, we're gonna take calls now.
Yes. So if you're following, you can come in with your calls. Thank you. Our studio is back on. Those of you listening to Truth FM 96.1. Those of you in the US, you can follow our Facebook feed. You will see the numbers that you can call to participate on the show. We want to give the public a lot of time. I mean, too many things happening in the country today. A lot of people follow all these issues from around the world, so they really want to participate. So we want to have the public to have a say.
Hey, caller, go ahead.
077-728-5961 are the numbers for you to call. Good evening.
I got somebody in line already. Quick.
Hold on, we got somebody from Tomalin's line.
Go ahead.
Hello, guys. Good evening to everybody, and good evening to Liberia. My name is Ambassador Jimmy, and I've been following the show from Grand Rapids, the state of Michigan. Guy, I want to first of all thank you guys for the wonderful discussion, and thank you to the guests in the studio for the expose. But guys, let me just say it clear, man. I don't think we are ready or Liberian ready for what is ongoing in our country. It is time that we sit down and discuss the issue of development. To go to do such a thing, go to the party headquarters, they need to set a warrant. And there's nobody will even to make sure that the proper mechanism, allowing people achieving live bullets, do all kinds of stuff, making people on our team. It's threatening people on the international scene. And it's so unfortunate for all the who came to the US to lobby for a job, listening to the whole of Liberia that do stuff. If you see such a thing on the internet,
okay, 1 minute. Yeah, 1 minute.
Shame our nation.
Okay.
So I want to advise that the government try to put in control and make things happen for the Liberian people.
Thank you.
Not to scare people away. Thank you.
All right, so 077-285-961. The number back home at the call and be live. Hello?
Good afternoon.
Can you please be audible, please?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Please be audible.
Yeah, I just want to send
I think we have a caller on.
Yeah, go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller. You're live.
Yeah, thank you, Tomalin. Yeah, I just want to send my condolence to, sorry, not condolence, but much empathy to those young people that were violently abused today in the country. But that is it, Tomalin, and to the rest of the Liberian people. I want to say thank you to my brother seated there from Liberia. You know, but Tomalin, that is something that Liberia we continuously to overlook as people and as a nation. Some of you that had the opportunity to have the platform, people come with education each and every time about this one country. Some of you can retrospect even in previous government. There were so many things happening on social media. There were so many false accusations. But we didn't see things like this happening in our country because the men that were in charge were always emphasizing on peace. We all can disagree with him, but most often he always emphasized on peace. But imagine just 6-7 months of a sitting government. Innocent people lose their life in Grand Kema counties. They are Liberians. Young people getting shot and killed by police. They are Liberians. We got sicknesses now in Liberia that harming the life of our people. For a government to think about these things, for government to think about empowering young people, for government to think about the circumstances that in a poor Liberians are going through. Like I said, ultimately, next month school going to be opening. There's some family members don't even have a 15 cent to be able to take care of their children's school fees. So if a government that say they came to change the life of the people cannot contemplate about these things, but rather to go and start going after a specific political institution in the country, where are we heading this country? Where is this country going to be heading when things go wrong in that country? Baka cannot be president if things go wrong in the country.
Okay.
Ministers of information cannot be minister of information when things go wrong in the country. Managing director cannot be managing director when things go wrong in the country. Are they contemplating on these things? Are they thinking about the 17, 16 year civil crisis that we went through? That people lose family members, decent young people lose their life. Are they contemplating on it? Or it's just about we in power now so we can do anything? It is sad, but Tomalin, and I wish that Joseph Mabaka government and his people can sit down and think that Liberia belongs to all of us. To call each and every Liberian to say, you know what, we would disagree, but let us come together.
Okay.
And see the common reason for us to move this country forward.
Okay.
Let me not take all the time I get now.
Okay, thank you. Let's call. Taking calls. Calls to come in. I'll keep taking calls. Call on coming. I'll keep taking calls. Okay, I got another. I got someone on the line. Go ahead. Go ahead, caller. Someone on the line. Go ahead, caller. You live.
Thank you. I want to say thank you for providing me the opportunity. Okay.
Yeah, you live. You live. What else you live?
My name is
You got to mute. I got calling line.
Corporations that are squeezing America.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. You live.
Basically, first of all, let me say very thank you to my brother Toga and Robert and every one of you that really you say every day to sit on this platform from the Liberian about what is unfolding. And I listened to Isaac Jackson very well. And let me also say a very big thank you to Alvin Wilson. You know, a young man that I've started to admire so very much for his stand on many critical national issues. And today was one of these days I extended my thanks to him for what he did, you know, standing for the right of some underprivileged young people. But, you know, Tomalin,
yeah,
what is unfolding is unfortunate. And I know for a fact that former President Weah placed his call to his former counterpart, President of Ivory Coast, Nigeria, Gambia, and other neighboring countries, Sierra Leone. has expressed his dissatisfaction about how Mr. Boakai and his team are proceeding in targeting certain group of people who they believe are not members of the Unity Party. The former president clearly expressed his disappointment in Mr. Boakai for his deliberate actions in the level of provocation that is being meted against his people. He has said that clearly, and he's not taking it lightly. And today was one of these days that he clearly expressed that to his former counterpart, and measures will be taken to avoid this level of provocations, because he clearly said, and we also think, Tomalin, and like you said, Toga said, and everybody else is saying that this continual provocation can only lead to us retrograding as a country. We believe that Mr. Boakai cares less about what is unfolding in the country, and that's the reason why some of the steps that he has taken and some of the provocation against the CDC and its partisan, he has not done anything to stop it. And that's the reason why you see the information minister, who I believe don't have any standing or has nothing to offer, will be coming out clearly to make some of these statements against a certain group of people in the country. Anybody who believes that, they would just do it and say, okay, we'll just do anything and let hello, Timole.
Yeah. You stay on.
Okay, sorry, the internet was giving me a little bit of problem. So, like I was saying, what is happening in Timale, and anybody who's not in Liberia, and you saw some of the things that happened today, they only carry your mind back to the war day. November 7th, I was at the party headquarters. Today, I was at the party headquarters. I saw the way the police aggressively engage people with no weapon, people that were at their party headquarters, and they were engaged aggressively by the police. And we believe that this is purely a provocation against us. And like I said the last time, and I'll say this today again, look, you can only push people to the wall. And when you push them and they can't move anymore, whether you will beat them, whether you will kill them, but they will come back because they believe that they can penetrate that wall to the wall. And that's the level of belief that Mr. Boakai and he of people from using something he's built, the dismissal of people that were employed at the Ministry of State, low level people that were making 150, 200, the MCC, civil servants that have been targeted because they are perceived, or they were perceived to be members of the CDC, and they are victims today of witch hunt, and nothing has been done. And it concerns our partners clearly express those concerns today, and within the next week, some of them will be coming to Liberia because they have said clearly that the investment that the rest of the African country like Nigeria, Ghana, Ivory Coast, in Liberia, they can set and allow it to be swept under the carpet by certain group of people that are proving this level of desperation, and they have expressed clearly that they will be coming in the country, to talk with Mr. Boakai. So they ease down some of the things that are going on. They want to push people to a certain level. And Timale want to say this clear. You can only push people to a certain level. And when you push them, and they can't go, they will come back at you. And we don't want this country to reach to that level. From what we are witnessing, we have today to calm some of these young people down because they are frustrated. You can't wait elections on and you believe that a majority of the votes in the country. And you clearly know that you want election on the margin of error. And we also believe that. So for you to not know that and you're coming after people only because you perceive them to be, your enemy, we think it is unfortunate. And the president has not said anything. Mr. Boakai has not issued a single statement from the airport saga up to everything that is unfolding. Mr. Boakai has not said a single word. He has not said a single thing. And you hear people, some of them are cheering it. And anything happening in the country today, no one person will be victim. We will all be victimized. In fact, they have the greater responsibility as a government. They are in government. They got people who goes to bed with hunger. Today, people sleeping with hunger. They're not coming to blame CDC for it because the government is charged with that responsibility to provide for its citizens. And they said they were going to do it. So they are there. Going to 1 year, nothing. But the only thing they are doing on is to continuously come after people. And we believe, like President we are made a call today, and we all believe that this is provocative. And if nothing, we want to emphasize, if this continue, and we believe that today, what happened will be the last day that we will condone these actions from the police. 6 years, we saw police feeding protesters. 6 years ago, one day you never heard that police were around the Unity Party headquarters because we understand what it takes. We understand what it takes. But since Mr. Boakai don't understand, and his folks don't understand that this has certain proclivity to derail everything that we have enjoyed over the period of time, and they want to say, okay, we care less, so we will all exhibit that careless attitude because we believe that we've been pushed to the wall so much.
Okay, that was the former presidential aide, Sekou Kolasco. Just confirmed that former President Weah spoke with the Ivorian President Ouattara today, the Sierra Leonean President Mada Bio, the Nigerian President Tinubu, and the Ghanaian President Ado. So, and hopefully in the next few days, weeks or so, they may be visiting Liberia to meet with President Boakai. So Toga, a press release can come out with that one. I trust you, buddy. Go ahead, take off, guys.
Exactly.
I trust you.
You got some calls from whom?
Yeah. So let's see what we
If now we take the neo-progressive to come in.
Go ahead.
The man is very knowledgeable about
I want to
what-
hear the voice of my neo-progressive brothers and sisters.
Look, I just saw your post. Actually, I actually
Go ahead.
But anyway,
Thank you. Good evening, Kimani, and the rest of the panelists. You know what we're going through today? I will bring you guys to the state. And I will clearly be straight to the point. I will bring the Spoon Network. They begin the school with lies, with trouble. And today we are in the because you got drink free water on the frequency of the American president, Abraham Lincoln. Today we are honoring the founder of this state, the late president, so to speak. If America can't have Liberia,
we are going to go straight to the wall in the mud. Spoon Network begin this thing.
Okay, let's just go to the next caller. We want you to be straight to your point, please. All right, the line is so basic. The next caller, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, straight.
Okay, thank you very much. You call getting and you continue the course. You see, the whole rescue thing is very, very disheartening. In the first place, they preach unemployment when they were coming to power, but they are yet dismissing people. So how do they reconcile their own statement? When I look at the issue today, just as the previous caller just said, if you continue to push people, we can always call the flag. Georgia took the flag response because most of the time he pre-peace, so he took the flag response. But if you continue to push people, then they will take the fight. So, I mean, the Unity Party government need to be very careful. You can't continue to propose one group of people like this. Yeah, so that's why I ask to all of us. Library for all of us. Yeah, you said people are unemployed, so you're putting people out of job. That alone is an abuse of your own statement. So please, it's about.
All right, so let's just go to the next caller right at 0777-285961. Good evening, you're live.
Yes, good evening. This is Steve and I score from thing called the president. Let me just say to President Walker and the foot for the Unity Party. CDC is a political party that believes in the rule of law. CDC, what the lower president Charlie has seen the people of this group for 12 years. CDC took the move of the public for 2018 and the maintain the peace. That's why the provocation from the opposition. President, we are brought to the world and it's a month of peace. What I'm reading is coalition with democratic change maintain that peace for 6 or 4 years. Now, President Joseph Walker has proven beyond all reason down that he's not open here. For example, President Walker told the Unity Party president the Unity Party president he is the only CPP as the chair of the CPP. This thing broke apart. Now he has taken a game authority. The thing he has to do is to chase after one group of people from place to place. If they are 5 communities, everyone, where they appointed the former minister, he went and said, no, this man should not have the position because the men will not support him. And let me tell you, the Christians are not good people. We are up for peace, but if you force us to the war, we have no other alternative but to defend our ourselves.
Okay, thank you, Reda. Thank you so much, caller. Thank you, Reda. I hope you we do in a very peaceful way. 0777-285961. The next caller, go ahead.
Yes, I would like to thank you for the show tonight. We'll call on this government, Honorable President Joseph Walker, to please maintain the peace. You just as well as someone get a message of peace every day, and we are listening to it. But we are calling on the RT people come on to please act professional and let me please engage the protester in a very decent way. President, we have until this country for 6 years because he wanted peace, he inherited peace from President Early and he maintained it. Then President Brocker knows this. Decent and that police people, we are all Liberians. And we need Liberians to be in peace. But if you continue to engage in any other form and manner, then you need mindful. There is a root of an engagement. So every opposite there will be a supportive reaction. Well,
thank you. Thanks for calling. And we pray that we all do in a very peaceful manner. 0777-285961. The next caller, you're alive. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. You're live.
Yeah.
Why we lost that caller? Hope you can call back. The next caller, go ahead.
Good evening, David. The issue today is so sympathetic, but then look at it. My dear, you people are not saying, just call for GD pathway here. The issue of drugs is killing our children. There's my party in your house. The drug dealers will go, the drug addicts will go and then take a check on your line. If you go ask them, they will take or seizures for you. So they must issue a warrant wherein our own children can go take their drugs and give it to the children. So when they're taking their drugs trying to take their children and take the drugs from them, then it becomes a bad thing. These things. People are not, the men are calling to the party, you know how many you are falling here.
All right, so they're holding them a minute after the poor party. You go get drugs from. The next caller, okay, it's okay. The next caller, go ahead. Yeah, you're alive. Go ahead.
I called tonight to make this clear to the unified school. You need to go to your brother. I want him to understand the issue about the Rwandan war, where people were going from place to place, killing people. The Tutsi and the Hutu crisis. And I met tonight, the egg is almost a crack. You understand? What happened today at the CDC compound? It was going to be the last day when they repeat on a serious note. The bloodshed that will occur in this country will be too nasty. Because when police will be gathered and stuff, we will go there and blaze it up.
No. We can't do that. We can't do that on this platform. Sorry, taking off. We can't do that on this platform. Sorry. Just maybe 2 more. Go ahead.
And let me say what for all the girls are telling Shibu Carrasco. So let me tell you something today. The first issue is not to condemn the violence that happened to the CDC Ecuador. This should not be taking place in our country. We need peace in our country. And it is wrong for one person to there be, and always think you picking for only person is not correct. We will try to react to one other day. It's wrong. I just tell you, the party people, Satan is not on the year. We just left power. You know what I'm saying? You treat him all the day. Why think we come back to power? How do you expect for us to run this country? You cannot people that are there late. You can't tell the people to do all the things. You are not seeing it today for the future. That's how you want to run our country. Is home, Mr. Babette. See that today, just we are rescuing many cases. What you be in the way, Mr. Babette? How you running our country this way? Look at today. Don't share over there today. That's how you want to rescue what we have to say, or let me get there because if the people want to kill all, they will kill all, but we're not with them for this. You why they attacking the city here for that? We are will be attacking a dollar way.
All right, no, we're not attacking anywhere. Nobody going to die. Thanks.
I can't call my line. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, Tomalin, good evening, brother, and good evening to the guys in studio, you and Liberian at large. This is Abraham calling from the United States. Liberia is at a crossroad, and today's activities in Liberia are very troubling. But what makes it much more troubling is the arrogant verbosity that was exhibited by the information minister today. Jeremy Pierre, he was so arrogant and very, very, they feel entitled. For him to even, I don't know what it is, a selective amnesia, but for him to even come on air to state that where had this happened before? Jeremy Pierre, where were you when the likes of your former chairman, Wilmer Pate, staged a protest at the court when Senator Sherman was indicted and taken to court? The lives of Pierre accompanying Senator Sherman to court. You didn't break the whole lot, didn't come down. But for you to come and stand on the podium when you are leading my sheer margin of error, you are leading a divided nation. to feel entitled that yes, Unity Party is entitled to do certain things in our country, but hey, no, other political institutions are not entitled to. That's entitled. That's an entitlement mentality, and it's arrogant in nature. It needs to be called to book for this kind of irresponsible behavior. The gross disrespect. Talking about, or the president just supposed, President, we are just supposed to sit there and allow the culture of impunity. What planet is a young man living on? You're not ruled by this country by majority, but for you to cut the verbosity, the arrogant verbosity, it needs to be called a book on it. Tomalin, this country is heading nowhere. This is high level of irresponsibility being exhibited by people, and Joseph Boakai being the president. His silence is deafening. He says nothing absolutely. The culture of impunity. People are dying on a daily basis emanating from Kidman and today's CDC headquarters. It needs to stop. If you have a country that had a history of this kind of brutal civil war, why can't that serve as a guiding principle for any leadership? Or rather than continue to vandalize and brutalize people, and you think that they're going to clap for you? They need to stop that, Tomalin. But all Liberians are all Liberians to stand up to this kind of irresponsible leadership in our country today. This is not a sacrifice that people made today that has compared a buck of Liberians to be in the diaspora today, calling other homes their homes because of civil war. People need to learn those things. If Jared Limapia don't understand that, by the way, he was in self-imposed exile in the United States here. And today for them to be in Liberia, ruling under the margin of error leadership, and to feel entitled, it's sad. But people need to speak up. You cannot silence the voices of your Liberian people. It ain't going to happen. Thank you, my brother.
Okay, guys, we got just roughly 21 minutes, so let's do a wrap up. Once again, today the former president of Liberia, His Excellency President George Manneh Weah, spoke to his former counterparts, Julius Maada Bio of Sierra Leone, Bola Tinubu of Nigeria, Alassane Dramani Ouattara of Cote d'Ivoire, and Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana. About the issue, the crisis in Liberia today at the CDC headquarters, and it was assured that they will be making intervention by visiting Liberia soon. So let's move on, and we'll go to Alvin Wissa for his closing comments, and then the other guys can do their parting comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me say thank you to you, Tomalin George. Let me thank you as well, Comrade Bielet. Let me say thank you to all of the panelists for the opportunity being provided to give you an evidential panorama, an evidence-based play-by-play commentary of what occurred at the plain view, full view of members of the international community, members of our development partners, ECOWAS, the mass media, the independent media, and the broader masses of our people. It is sad times in Liberia that the peace and stability of our 5-year democracy that we all fought and invested into has been jeopardized by a creeping dictatorship in Joseph Boakai and his political stooges and surrogates. We want to say this to Mr. Boakai and his legs and the few Unity Julius, that you did not come to power on popular mandate. Let me reiterate that Mr. Boakai, you did not come to power on popular mandate. The power that brought you to the presidency is still fragile. It is not only fragile, but relatively fragile. And because it is on the margin of error, it means that you do not have legitimate democratic popular support in the context of the sovereign masses of our people who have the authentic support, the grassroots support, the democratic support. So we know the strategy of Tomalin George. Let's go after the CDC. The CDC will not demonstrate. The CDC will not protest. The CDC will retreat into cowardice. We will beat them with silent critical forces. We jail some of them. Then we start to bastardize and circumvent the state, the resources, and then deploy a system of authoritarian and totalitarian kakistocratic form of government. Like the way it was under Samuel Doe, it was under Charles Sitler. The ruthless dictatorship of these black fascists, they came here and saw what happened to our country. But let me say this to him. If Eric could not destroy the interminable mighty Congress for Democratic Change, this dispensation of the United Partisans, led by Joseph Nyeman Pwakas, and their ruthless attempt is not going to work on the CDC. The CDC as an institution, the largest mass-based revolutionary movement in the history of this country, is going to do everything possible to ensure that she exists in the political context and she exists in the underground movement. She exists into contact with history to defend its revolutionary belief system, ideological precept, political construct, and ideas that drive the politics of democratic grassrootsism. So we are not intimidated. Like we said, too many jobs, as per our intelligence, but tomorrow they'll be attacking. I said that to you a few hours ago, or minutes on the show, that there is barrage of well-armed plain state security elements that are now gallivanting and parading the 2 FM station, asking for my arrest. I said that to you. You do not expect Grand Common and the rest of the people to tell you that intent. That they did not express that to you. When they attacked the headquarters this morning, they will not say that to you. But let me send it as a caveat. If the NSA, the Liberal National Police, and the United States government is contemplating using the same strategy to go at the official residence, premises, and vicinity of the former president of the Republic of Liberia, like they did at the headquarters of the Congress for Democratic Change, to brutalize, to ramsize. I'm asking them to revert, to detour, to disengage, because any attempt on the life of the political leader and the former president of the Republic of Liberia is going to jeopardize the peace and security of our country. It's going to break down the democratic fabric and undermine the fragile mandates of Mr. President Bwaga, who is parading and operating on borrowed time. We want to ask the United States government that the CDC will not be disturbed and distracted from the real governance issues. Tomalin George, we, in the coming days, particularly the largest segment of the Congress for Democratic Change, which is the Revolutionary National Youth League, the first line of defense, ideological defense of the CDC, will be asked the fundamental question: where did the 20 million go that mysteriously disappeared from the national budget? The evidence shows that the executive mansion has altered the national budget and took 20 million away. The youth league will be asking fundamental questions. Nobody will scare us. So the scare tactics been deployed. You think you can put grown men at our headquarters, and so the people bringing gun people, so they run away. We will not run away. This is a country of equal citizens. Equal citizens. Insofar you have your right to govern, we do have our right to exist. We have our right to exist as Liberians. We have the constitutional, the democratic right to exist. And if in the exercise of our existence, by using Article 15, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and using Article 17, under our law, freedom to assemble, freedom of assembly, and he think that it is a crime. Now, it was not crime yesterday. So many judges come and beer. It was never crime. New Progressive. June 7, the United Party launched one of the biggest protests in this country. What did Mr. President in the attitudes of this country and the political leader of our party, George Manavia, do? He told water. He gave them food. And then institutionalized democratic policing. There was nobody who experienced brutalization. Nobody disrupted. When last we all noticed that under the CDC's the administration, the headquarters of the United Party was ransacked. When last under the CDC administration, we heard in this country that people were incarcerated or imprisoned because they spoke against the weird administration. When last, so many jobs that you ever experienced that President Weir has arrested and we have a political prisoner under the administration of Excellency President George Manuel Weir. Don't think that happened. But how come just after 6 months, after consolidating the peace and investing into the democracy of our country, the bureau has been placed in the wrong hands. The country has been given back to the anarchists. The anarchists are taking over. The dictators are taking over. They have ruined the gamuts of totalitarianism, of authoritarianism, of tyrannism. They are coming after to put up the democracy. But we will not sit and allow the democracy to get on fire, to get a place. We'll do everything possible, peacefully, democratically, politically, and legally to ensure that the CDC remains insurmountably prepared for the greater challenge come 2029. We know that tactics. So we're not surprised. I want to say thank you. Let me encourage all young people under my voice as the acting chairman of the Revolutionary National Youth League of the Intermittent Martyr Congress for Democratic, not to fear, to stand up, let it remain resolute, remain mobilized across the 15 sub-political divisions of the country in the 17 districts of Massachusetts County. If you are in the diaspora, you must provide your more revolutionary support. And the CDC in our lifetime will not decimate. The CDC in our lifetime, we have seen more of this oppression yesterday. The CDC has survived that. We survived the greatest attack, November 7, 2011. But again, Tomalin George, the CDC of 2011, November 7, is not a CDC of 2024 in the current political dispensation. Let me say thank you ever so much for the time. We ask Mr. Baka to deal with the bread and butter issues, start running behind motorcyclists, start going after civil servants, start dismissing our people, go in the various hospitals. The hospitals are empty, the clinics are empty, no drugs. It's a responsibility. The high cost of living, things are getting tough. It's a responsibility to provide jobs and not to be threatening people and be dismissing. So stop the extrajudicial killing, stop the intimidation, and stop the harassment. Thank you ever so much. The party remains supreme. Long live the Congress for Democracy. It is a pleasure giving me such an opportunity. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, we said thank you so much. We said comes from the Youth League. It's about time for us to do our partying. Let's go. I don't know, but New Progressive, you want to whine on all these issues. If it's actually partying you want to do, because too many probably they want me to talk, then y'all can just
No, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Look,
Because
so please,
I
do.
will take 1 minute.
I think we can give you some time. Deal progressive. Deal progressive. We all give you our time.
But
Just wrap up for other audio progressive. 5 minutes straight.
It's actually
No talking.
no, it's actually a unfortunate day today. Part of the reason
Yeah,
why
but because you came in late. But anyway, it was a
part
good
of the reason
show.
why I didn't. Yeah, I was actually between time. That's why. But it's a very gloomy day for the country. Very gloomy day.
Pause in dramatic lines.
Yeah, it's a very gloomy day for the country, and I believe this is a one-time attack. But before I move further, I will advise the acting youth league chair when he's on any other show moving forward to come down a little bit so that he can send a message to the people in the communities, the market women, the children of the market women, the ordinary people in the community, so that hear what this government is doing to ordinary people. I mean, you need to be very effective in this kind of a communication. That's where strategic communication is required. You need to speak to the consciences of those people in the community. The old man sitting around the radio, the old man sitting there, most of those that are listening to Truth FM now, they will find it very difficult to understand most of what he was just saying. They need to understand the terrible things that happen today to the folks. So you have to be strategic in communicating this kind of a thing at this kind of critical time. That's my advice to him moving forward. Do that. He's a very good communicator. He communicates very well. But we that did communication at that kind of time, we effectuate what we call strategic communication so that you send the communication down to those that need to get the communication. This is very pivotal towards protecting our country peace. You saw the ordinary women today, those women that normally do their 24 or 48 hours prayer for the country. This attack was unprovoked. And as he indicated in his statement.
In fact, those women were even tear gas.
Yes. As he indicated in his statement, the June 7 protest, that was a massive protest that will dethrone a democratically elected government. That protest, June 7. There was a massive protest. And that protest, in other words, it was tantamount to abrogating the constitutional authority. That protest, June 7. It was almost a protest like trying to overthrow a constituted authority. What did this president do? He sent a special emissary to the Capitol building to meet. I can remember, and then Busman. So the president did not use lethal force against unarmed individuals that were protesting, according to them, their constitutional responsibility. There were no lethal force news at that time. No lethal force news at that time. And to see a president that peacefully transfer power, that you are attacking his party headquarters in the name of drug enforcement officers going for drugs and the rest of the story. I saw the Liberian government release the put out. It's troubling. And it's about time that it's strategic that there's some diplomatic scene, because the situation is still very fluid in terms of the way we're headed. So some diplomatic intervention would be very important, but there should be this caveat sent to them that they should disengage this kind of a thing. It's not good. It's not going to help the country peace. Mind you, the country is still fragile. Our democracy is still deeply fragile. No one should think that because we're being consistent in terms of having 3 successive elections democratically, that the country cannot revert to chaotic and unseen circumstances that were very devastating in our past history. It is possible the country can. And the reason why I'm afraid of is that we have a lot of trained men that are unemployed, ex-combatants that are unemployed in that country. And that was, they don't understand. We that understand the threat of security, that studying the process of security science, we try to advise them to be mindful. Because where you have trained ex-combatants, though demobilized at the time, they can still be remobilized in terms of their own frustration because of what is unfolding in the country. They will take seize of the matter and plunge the country into more chaos. You are the ruling establishment. You're carrying up responsibility. That's one of the reasons why people thought George Weah was a scared president. He was not a scared president, but he was trying to protect the sanity of the democracy we have. He's not scared. He was not a wicked president, but people thought he was a weak president. He was not a weak president. He was not a wicked leader. But what he did, he struck the balance in protecting the democracy of our country. And that's what any sensible person would do if you're president of a country that went through a devastating 15, almost 20 years of civil crisis. With a lot of people that are trained to shoot guns. People are trained to decapitate people from the head. It happened in that society. that's a civil society, you want to come and target certain people. When those guys get loose and frustrated, you have a military that less than 2,000, the capacity of our strength. They can run that country in no day. You have no country that the country will be again in the same line. God forbid we don't pray for that. But you, the administration, should not provoke the society as we move on. You have a lot of combatants in our country that are trained. They are very trained. I know. We went to the war.
In fact, just recently, you got rid of almost 300 to 400 EPS officers.
Exactly.
And auto posted now.
Exactly. And some of those people don't even know what's happening. But it's also good today that the first government press release indicated and vehemently refuted the thing we were discussing yesterday about going to search the former president home. They refuted it, they denied it in an official release from the government of Liberia. That is also good. But what we're saying to them is that the government need to investigate this to use lethal force against harmless people. It's troubling. It is a very big blow to our democracy, and we need to repair this process by ensuring that there should be a speeded investigation, and those that will find culpable to this process should be heavily punished by the Liberian government by an example that they didn't sanction this process. It can be, these are the kind of indication that will come out. The government should introduce a very prompt investigation, come out of the outcome of that investigation, and then punish those people with the caveat to those other security apparatus in the country to not use lethal force against the people of the country. Power is inherent in the people. Article 1 of our constitution is very emphatic here. To see that happen, one of my comrade, little Geo brother that we all saw now called me, he was a victim of today's circumstances. He was a serious victim of this issue. So that's one of the lines that I didn't even know that we were coming on the show today on the motion, and I was not very active on that. I would have packed anywhere in the street to make sure I was part of this program. It's unfortunate. President Weah is not a coward. He's never been one. And the reason why he was named Peace Ambassador is because of his trend and the way he managed himself moving on. He's not a coward. He has never been a wicked leader. He has never been a dictator. And that's why he was very firm in the process of transferring power over. I mean, we don't have time. I will rest here, but want to show the Liberian people and also call on the CDC via the leadership of President Weah. And one of the magnanimous and very diplomatic line he chose today was to extend this line of extending a process of engaging with the ECOWAS leader. And the swift manner the ECOWAS leader responded is good, meaning there's reason now to say, hey, we are not the problem. I transfer power to stay attacking me. Would this be an issue that will push people to don't do no? This is very undemocratic, and I think there was a sad and gloom day for the country, and it's something we should not think of going back to. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Guys, so we get 30 seconds so we can wrap up quick. Guys, quickly.
Listen, I thought a fascinating show. I wish we had time to ask more questions. But I thought it was a great show. Liberia is all of our country. The threat of security that Sylvester alluded to earlier is a major concern for all of us, and it just should not be a concern in times of chaos. It should be a concern that should have been addressed many, many years ago, as in 2005. I mean, it's concerning that you have all of these young men, the child soldiers that are now grown men, and you have a lot of these young men and women in the streets today with absolutely nothing to do. We have not invested in no rehabilitation for them to have them reintegrated back in society. We've done none of these things. And so when Sylvester talked about the threat to our national security, and when people talked about how fragile our peace is in that country, it's very serious, but it's concerning as well. But like you said, I want to follow up with that. The CDC must be very strategic in their response. Be very, 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 very strategic in their response. I think this is a legal, a constitutional matter. The police has been politicized. This should not be the case. People should have the right to assemble. And if there's anything unconstitutional going on, at the CDC headquarters, there are legal steps to take to uncover the truth. And so we have got to be careful with what we do in the country. But it was a great show. But look, everyone needs to stay calm. Stay calm. Leadership, a sense of leadership must take its course. And I think that we've got to be careful how we make decisions, especially the league government. Thank you.
Thank you. And from my end, I wrote a long piece today. Distributed it in a lot of different chat rooms, and one of the things I said, is the fact that you see Ellen Johnson Sirleaf when she was president. She was president at a very interesting time in Liberian history. We had just come from war. I think there were over 10 to 15,000 foreign troops in the country. But amidst all of it, she knew that the political local ground needed to be solidified. She made George Weah peace ambassador. She made sure that George Weah contained most of the people that he controlled and all of that. Like I said in that article, I don't think Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was stupid. I think she was strategic. And President Bouaka needs to start thinking in similar direction. It's very unfortunate that you would take over a country in, like all the guys have said, in a margin of error, just 1% or under 1%, and think that you have got control of everything in the state. No, the terrain is fragile. Situations can be chaotic. I don't think President Bouaka should have even gone 3 months without meeting all the key political actors in the country, all the key opposition leaders. People want to see them around you. The president should sit with them in a major meeting, ask them some questions. How do you think we can move the country forward? Even if it's just for the show, even if it's just for the photograph, photo op, you need to do that. But up to today, the president has not done that. All right? In some instances, do you know McGill worked on Ellen Johnson's administration? Do you know many of these guys? I mean, if you ask Cummings today, maybe he doesn't want to work in your government, but he could strategically send 1 or 2 names to you. You know what that means? It means if something is happening at the ANC headquarters, Cummings will get involved because his people are working in your government. You should have a relationship with George Weah one way or the other. Like him or hating, I mean, he got his own followings and all of that in the country. And you need to interact with him. If for any reason George Weah had 1 or 2 say in the government, maybe 1 or 2 allies sitting in the government, if something happens, he will be able to pick up the phone and say, look, guys, abandon this quest today and let's move forward because it's about our country. But you're not doing any of this. You just got a lot of bitter folks around you. And every day they tell you, say, move on these people. You know, the information minister is my very big brother. I mean, a very respectable guy from our county and all of that. But I think he needs to tone down the rhetoric. All right? He needs to tone down the rhetoric. The way he responded today, during the information press briefing, it was completely unfortunate. You don't bring all of your hate and all of that. You are at the point where you have to govern the country. To govern this country of 5.5 million people, you got to be strategic. You got to sound reconciliatory. You got to sound peaceful. Because the onus is on you. People look at you. They expect better of you. They expect a difference. You already finished winning the people. You can't be, like I was saying somewhere today, you can't win the man and then you be teasing the man. You wake up in the morning, 4 o'clock, you move. The man already angry. You move on the man headquarters, you create chaos there. The man got nothing to lose. You got everything. If there were any chaos in this country today, you got the major stake. You are the sitting government. If there were an inter-government fund today, you got the bitter pills to swallow. We also saw what happened recently in Kenya. In Kenya, for example, just because of protests, technically over 8 different ministers of the government have to be tabled to bring in brand new people, bulk of them opposition people to come help to run the country, which the guy did not want to do, but he had no option because protests came about. Recently, right in Nigeria, I think the former leaders of the country had to go and meet Tinubu a few days to sit down with him and chart a new course for the running of the country. You play a major role. Think about that. Let's be inclusive. Let's create opportunity. Let's create a new day for Liberia. It's about all of us. Thank you very much.
I want to say thanks again. Tomorrow we'll be back. I want to say thanks to True FM and Hard FM for always being on our side of Chaos Live. To our viewers, tomorrow we'll be live here. And before I go, let me just say happy birthday to my niece, Buddy Emily Weah. She's enjoying her birthday in Atlantic City, having fun. Buddy, enjoy your day. Have fun.
My man,
And
today my wet birthday, man. Saying happy birthday, Pede.
Where's
Mrs. Jovi Dan Pierre, her
your
birthday today.
you get dropped.
Yeah, my wet birthday today.
What was it do with
And
you?
all the thing, all the protest in town, we could not even leave the house. We could not even leave the house today because of all the trouble around us.
You know, want to say thank you, but and what you guys said, look, like I told somebody today, I said, look, I told a senator today, I said, look, do you know that anything happen in that country, lawmaker, everything, there'll be no more legislature. You won't go to that point where Labradors came, where everything is to a standstill because you will not spend that seat again. You have responsibility to protect this peace. You guys better be careful. You don't have today. You got Guinea, you got military leader in Guinea. You got Cote d'Ivoire. That man is on his way out. Ouattara, Sierra Leone, Marabio. He's trying to unite his country. You want to see Labrador in a kind of a situation. Be very careful. I see people on Facebook writing and they're boasting and bragging, and they don't even understand what they are talking. You should be talking talk of unity, not to be talking about saying, "Oh, they person are loser, they person are this." You insulting other people. Look, Liberia belongs to everyone. The last thing we want to see happen is our country going into chaos. Like the Kolasco said today, everybody will be the victim. There will be no winners. Everybody will be losers. And for you to think, say, ECOWAS will send troops to Liberia again, no. You all better stop it. You have to unite our country. Stop pushing the other side to the brink of no return. Because if they back against the wall, they will respond. And yet, if people are saying that, they won't tolerate no more. So I hope that there will be reasonable minds who will say, look, it's about time that we try to find common ground instead of us to acting like we are against them. We're against them. It won't work. So I just pray and hope that people will take cue from what happened today and will act accordingly to avoid it, because they continue to pursue this kind of a path, it will bring the country to a brink of collapse. And we all know, all of us on the platform, we're experiencing a Liberian war. You want to see the country go into chaos again. It will be, and mind you, the kind of people that already sending for people, some point the enemy in our town right now, it will be nasty. Because somebody just waiting to say, okay, I got in now. Hey, Rara one, I be give me a time. I come for Rara now. Pupa, that guy there, he made me to lose my job. Another one part, he took my work from me because I get money.
Yeah, but that's how you're right. That's how families work, and people were
fleeing.
Yeah.
Well, be careful. I mean, nobody gonna see. And this thing is all international wire tonight. Yeah, good for the country. What kind of investor in the country now? Any investor who want to Liberia see what they saw today, you know what put that money in the country? So that's not talking. But guy in Atlanta, Georgia there. I mean, you got a puppy there, meeting with university people. I know, I mean, where the conference or the VP in India, about the country, they are pushing the country, they are causing confusion in the country like this.
As soon you haven't meeting with one investor, they just go Google Liberia.
Tell me what put that money in the country? Yeah, for once, what put that money in the country? If anybody's seeing this thing today and thinking about coming to invest in Liberia, say no, we're not going there. We'll put our money in that country.
But look at the police. Look at the police. The police themselves don't even look well equipped for this. Look at the police. I mean, look, we need to stop this because these guys, those young boys, if you push them, you have to kill them.
Robert,
okay, the police don't have to respect us.
People are not working. The people are not working. People, a lot of unemployment there. People are very gapping. People are struggling. And you pushing into that kind of situation. Look, it's not like taking a match and just go near a fire. So what in that country? Trust me. To bring and the thing you guys were saying earlier, because who will talk to these guys? The political leaders and that will talk to a partisan. You guys don't talk to them. Who will talk to them? Even the press in Liberia too, they feel that they are being pushed aside. Who will use the platform or to talk to the voices of reasoning? So the council of churches, you guys don't wait till things get out of hand before you guys have to talk. It will be too late. The women are laying out today on the ground, putting the lapa down. They're not enough. You're extended to the various government agencies where people are causing these problems. I mean, this scene is terrible. Internationally, it's terrible. Look at this stuff. Who will put that money into Liberia where they're gonna scene? I mean, I'm sure people watching it now, and I can tell you, if I'm the president, I in Atlanta, Georgia today, talking to people to go to Liberia, and the people say, "Oh, the Washington is the president. But what is this? What actions you give them?" And like you said, my brother Gerald Limekia, you cannot be. I mean, you information minister, for God's sake, you gotta calm the country. You can't be and just being of busters and so forth and talking with like that. We're not at war. You in government now. You guys should control the peace of the country. But guys, look, I'm tired. We pray. Let's pray for Liberia because things are getting out of hand. But guys, good night and let us see tomorrow, guys. Let's pray for our country as we go to bed tonight. I'm about to go listen to Kamala Harris acceptance speech. I mean,
Exactly.
I'm gonna listen to it right now. And
all right, Jeff.
Yes. Okay, guys. Good night. I also take over, man. Tell me from studio now. Tell me on. Oh, again. Tell me on now.